How did you make Discord sound spooky? Did Discord just decide to do that? What did you do? I got so spooked.
Oh, maybe it's the Halloween ghost in your haunted old Cambridge home.
Are you gaslighting me? I live in Somerville.
Somerville's close to Cambridge.
It is. Apparently, I think this is... Maybe it's not new. Maybe I've just never heard it before, but people keep referring to the area as Camberville, and I don't know how I feel about that.
It was your old place in Cambridge?
No.
Oh. They were both in
I went
Somerville?
Somerville to Somerville. Somerville and Cambridge are like, if you take a slice of pizza and you cut it down the middle and then you get 2 extra skinny slices of pizza, that's like Cambridge and Somerville.
But one of them is a nicer looking slice.
Yeah, they're not identical.
One of them has all the
slices.
toppings. Yeah, one of them. Yeah, you slice down the middle because you're trying to be fair, but actually, one side has all the toppings and the other side has like a weird looking crust.
Yeah, well, I've got no more for this for this metaphor.
No, Somerville's fine.
Yeah, whatever. It's Somerville. No,
I mean, I'm sure that you've got an inspiring nightlife.
Let's not keep talking about Somerville. I just feel like I'm going to say things I regret or something.
Like what?
Nothing real. I just, this...
Well, you're going to feel bad later about trashing Somerville? You're going to be like, I feel guilty.
No. But, it just... I think this is something that's largely invisible to the podcast listening audience, that you only know if you are a podcast host, which is like... you regret stuff you say all the time. You're just like, why did I said the wrong word in the moment, or I was getting at a point, but I went the wrong way and kind of stalled out. And
this is a feeling we do not share.
That's just how podcasts work. Yeah, I guess you are the guy who has never been wrong about anything. So just everything you say, you're like, yep, that was the right thing to say.
Sometimes, like if we go back to like very early episodes, I hate them because I just feel like I wasn't really good at doing this yet. And there's like, I don't know, habits that I had when I was younger that I don't have anymore. Like
not having nightmares.
Right. I don't have that habit of not having nightmares anymore.
Yeah.
No, just like, I just feel like I was more annoying, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm less annoying now, and so I don't regret things that I also don't like. Obviously, I prefer to not be wrong about things, and I feel pretty strongly
that it hasn't happened yet.
No, that I'm not always like making factual errors when I'm talking about things. But when it happens, it happens. I don't worry about it.
I think I just worry about it. I don't think I've ever stopped worrying about it. I think I just now worry about it subconsciously in the background, like it's a background task.
Yeah.
Whereas I used to perseverate about it. But, I just I just know if we talk about a town, I'm just going to end up saying something I didn't mean to say, and then I'll look back on it and be like, that's not what I was getting at.
Yeah. I'm glad
But
I don't do
anyways,
that.
the thing about Somerville is, until somewhat recently, it had a reputation for being a working class town, for not being a place where wealthy, affluent people live. And
right, but now it's in Boston, so the rents are $5,000 a minute.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what the perception is.
Right. Well, but it's like, I don't know. There's a lot of people who rent in Somerville and are not very wealthy, and I think there's this undercurrent of people who have lived in Somerville their whole lives who really hate all these rich people that they imagine have moved in. But all the rich people I see in Somerville are like old people who own their own houses, and it's like full of... It is, I guess, Somerville is the most densely populated municipality in New England, Keith.
Oh,
and
wow. Is that true?
Apparently.
Because sometimes it's Providence.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, you know what the problem with Providence is, Keith, and this is
Nothing.
why Somerville wins on density. It's too big. It's got lots of businesses in it. It's got the Providence Mall. It's got Providence Place taking up all that space, whereas
Right.
Somerville is just triplexes.
Oh, there's not a commercial center of Somerville.
No, there is. There's plenty of commercial in
Yeah, there's
Somerville.
restaurants and there's
Yeah,
bars
no,
and there's.
it's great. I would just see.
You're
I'm
gonna
doing
really
that
regret
thing.
that one later.
I'm doing the thing. I'm just
Yeah.
fucking around and just saying whatever, and now I'm like,
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said that.
Maybe that's the problem, is that you're always lying.
Oh,
And I don't have this problem because I'm not lying all the time.
I wish I could just do it the way Trump does it. He just does it. He doesn't even know he does it, and he just gets away with it all the time.
We're gonna get canceled for you
gotta-
saying that you wish that you were more like Trump.
No, that's the one thing I'll get praised for. It's the Trump
Yeah.
magic.
It doesn't seem that aura doesn't seem to spread very far from his personal body.
No, it doesn't.
He does not have a sphere of protection.
Somehow he transferred it to all of his failed children, though. That's incredible. Like, all of Donald Trump's sons are, like, very obviously the stupidest, most useless people ever invented by genetics.
Yeah.
And yet somehow they all have their own little mini followings.
Yeah. Well, I just think it's just because of the kind of person that likes Donald Trump likes
Yeah.
dynasties and is like,
Yeah.
they're like,
They're the next Trump. It's important.
yeah, they're like, you know, they're sort of inherently kind of monarchistic.
Imagine, someday you'll be telling your kids about way back when you got to shake the hand of President Eric way before he had even served in the House.
Well, it's sort of like, they only half jokingly call Trump the God King, right? And so, what is the son of the God King?
Do they?
I can't
Jesus
believe that you didn't know that.
Christ.
Yeah, they do.
All right, well,
Obviously, there's a lot of people who like Donald Trump, and I'm sure different ones of them are joking different amounts. But yeah, they totally do call him that. And so, what is the God King's son? The God Prince.
God Prince.
Yeah. God Prince?
just Godson.
Godson.
But that one doesn't sound as impressive,
And
right?
it means something else. Okay, let's talk about literally anything else.
Welcome, everybody, to the October 25th edition of the Run Button Podcast. My name is Kylie Churchill, and I'm here with my cousin Keith J. Carberry.
Hi.
Oh, I love that bark. That's a great bark.
I almost barked, but I thought that maybe, like, I almost did like a dog bark, but I thought maybe people wouldn't have listened to that one.
They'd get it. Real ones would know.
Real ones would know.
Yeah. Well, we're here. We had 2 podcasts in the span of 2 weeks. We did incredibly well, but I didn't want people to get the wrong idea. Okay. And you're just drinking.
Sorry. I just had this last sip of my drink.
No, that's fine. Just let me know when you're done.
I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't. All right, that was a little weird. Okay. Huh. It's still going, actually. Okay,
good.
yeah, no. I can tell we're not going to be able to move on until we address this. So, Keith, why don't you let me know what the fuck's going on?
I was thirsty. I had to just take the last sip of my drink. But now I'm good.
Okay. And so, and to be clear, you're not going to regret that later. You're not going to look back on that moment and be like, "Oh, I could have done better."
Better, like, louder? No, that was as loud as I could get it.
Okay, yeah. Well, Keith, I was trying to say I didn't want people to get spoiled. I didn't want our listeners to think we were just going to be a weekly podcast. that could just
sure.
put episodes out every week like it's a thing.
Right.
And so here we are. It's been 2 weeks.
Yep.
Got 2 weeks worth of news. But you wouldn't know.
Is this one of
you
those
wouldn't
times
know.
where you're lying again? Because you did want to do one last week and we tried and it got canceled. You canceled.
What? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
So are you going to regret that?
Are you? All right, Jesus. I was trying to be cool about it, but apparently we have to address it. Yeah, I wanted to do a podcast last week, but then instead what kept happening was that I would feel tired and I would want to smoke a bunch of weed and watch Dragon Ball, and so I did that instead. Is that what you want me to say?
Truth in comedy.
Is that it? All right. Or
Yep.
do we all feel better now? Can we move on?
Yep, we can move on.
All right, great.
So you did want them to feel spoiled. But we're just unable to spoil them.
You know, it's like parenthood. You'll always feel the ache of not being able to be a better parent. No matter how good of a parent you are, you'll always wish you
I don't
could
get
do
that
better.
sense from my parents.
You don't think your parents feel like they could have done better?
I don't think it gives them an ache. I think that I think that whatever fleeting ideas that they have that they could have done better are quickly out of their mind.
Yeah. Well,
maybe my mom. Maybe mom closer than my dad, for sure.
Your father is too busy creating his mashed potato sculpture of Don Jr.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have time to ache about anything else.
Yeah, he's sitting in a cavern somewhere pulling on the drawstring of the Donald Trump talking doll that he's had since the early 2000s.
No.
This has come up before. Yeah, he had an apprentice themed Donald Trump doll.
I'll
that
have you know
talked.
this has not come up before. I would remember this.
No, this has definitely come up. It's definitely come up.
And I'm hearing you say that, and I don't want to say that you're wrong, but I do want you to know that that's not what happened.
Okay, well, whether for the first time or not, he does have that, or did anyway.
Great. I bet it.
It must have felt so natural to vote for him after having been a doll level fan for so long.
He's already been part of my life for years. I presume this Trump plush. You pull the string and it tells you that your employment is being terminated.
Yeah, it says your employment's being terminated.
You're like, oh no, do I get severance?
No.
Yeah, hey Keith. Hey
Yeah.
Keith.
Yeah.
You ever get a feeling like you wanted to play a video game?
Yes.
Did that happen this week?
Yes.
What did you do when you felt that feeling?
Well, I played Genshin Impact. That's what I did.
Oh, okay.
We played on stream. We played Dragon Ball The Breakers and Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Dragon Ball the Breakers and Dragon Ball the Fighters.
Dragon Ball The Breakers Z. I played Overwatch 2.
Okay.
And I don't have really anything to say about Overwatch 2. Okay, I do. It's crazy. Why did they do that? What? Like, I'm just playing Overwatch 2, and it's like, okay, in 9 ways out of 10, this is literally just Overwatch 1.
Okay.
Except they made a bunch of little irritating changes. The biggest of which is that it's 5 people, 5 on 5 instead of 6 on 6.
Yeah.
And they made all of these changes. They changed a bunch of how characters work. They gave into the DPS terrorists who
I hate when developers give in to terrorists.
Yeah, and they gave in to the assault class weirdos who all they ever want to do is play the class that they can, get the most kills in, regardless of whether they're helping their team or not.
Yeah,
and like got rid of all of the tank shields.
Yeah,
there's
no like defensive class anymore? What's
there's
the deal
there's
here?
still tanks, but tanks are basically like, so there's the DPS class that you know and love, like Reaper and Cole Cassidy, and
Your edgelord
Symmetra,
class.
right? And then the tank class is just, do you want to be a DPS character but have a lot of health? And so late in Overwatch 1's life, they introduced role queue as the new standard
Right.
matchmaking, which is like you have to tell it what role you're going to play beforehand, and so you're locked into the roles. And it used to be
that kind
two
of fun,
tank.
though?
What's that?
Isn't it kind of nice?
No, it sucks.
Oh. See, this is what I'm used to from like World of Warcraft matchmaking, and I like it.
The reason why it sucks is because it takes a long time because
Yeah.
they have to match you with the right component parts, especially if you do want to play DPS, then it's it took like way longer. Like it would take like 7 minutes to get a match going.
If you want to be if you want to be a degenerate who's not appreciably contributing to your team, you have to wait longer.
You can be a DPS character that's contributing to the team. It's just
In theory,
a lot of them don't. So like, I like to play Junkrat, right? Junkrat's a great hero.
Junkrat.
Who's, you shoot your bombs and you destroy tank shields and you break up groups by throwing mines at them and you trap people in your thing. Very
blow things
helpful
up.
DPS character. And if I play around as a healer, I'm in a match in 30 seconds. Play around as a tank, I'm in a match in 40 seconds. And then I want to reward myself and play some Junkrat. And it's like a 6-minute wait. I don't know if that's still true because I quit playing role queue, especially before it was like 2, and 2, right? So 2 tanks, 2 DPS, 2 healers. Now it is 1 tank, 2 DPS, 2 healers. So it's actually, I would imagine, even longer to get a group going because proportionally, healer, the least popular class, now makes up a bigger percentage of the team.
I mean, I like playing as healers, but and having 2 healers on your team sounds great, but that sounds really high.
Yeah.
Like, there were not... Even back when it was 6-on-6 in Overwatch 1, it was not typical that you had 2 healers on a team.
Right. And actually, that was like... I feel like that was wrong. Like, there should have been 2 healers.
Yeah.
And 4 other... but people were so reticent to play healer that you just ended up with like, well, we have a bad team composition, but the other team also does because no one wants to be the second healer.
Yeah.
So I guess whatever. Meanwhile, they've been adding like more and more competent like heroes in terms of doing damage as a healer, like Baptiste, Moira. The new
characters
Kuriko,
I haven't heard of.
These are all characters that can do tons of damage in addition to being good healers. And still it's hard to get people to be healers. But anyway,
that's really surprising because I always to me, I think playing as healers is so fun. It's always the easiest thing to do, and you get like tons of points and stuff in like every game. Like they incentivize it so heavily that it feels like it's like so rewarding usually to play as a healing class. And everyone loves you.
No, Overwatch is absolutely chronically unappreciative of their healers. I feel
that's
like
hilarious.
Like it is so hard to be a healer. People won't even be so like Moira's a character. She throws a ball that at you. It heals you when you're close to it. And in general, people are just constantly running away from healers when they need to be healed. They're just like.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to heal me, but I want you to heal me where I want to be. Like, I can't, I'll make no effort to be healed by you. Please make 100% of the effort. Moira has this ball that she throws, and it'll be like, I need to throw this ball because the other heal that I have is not unlimited. The unlimited one is the ball. So when I throw the ball, you have to go with it or you won't get healed. And it's just like, no, the ball needs to cross my path perfectly and I will not move even an inch
I
over
will
to
not
follow
deviate
the ball.
from my preset course to get to the ball.
I mean, it is so frustrating to be a healer in
Okay.
in Overwatch, and I feel like I'm constantly being a healer because it's like, you know, I only play Overwatch with friends who want to play Overwatch with me.
Yeah. I will say it is not fun to have the feeling of like, well, I have to play this class role because no one else is going to do it right.
Yes, that is the endless struggle. It's basically me and my friends all taking turns being healers and tanks, because without us, it would be four. Because we do open queue, because roll queue is oppressive fundamentally.
Wow. And that is the anarchist that's the anarchist spirit at work in Overwatch 2.
Yeah, and so we do open queue, which is like the old style of you can pick any class, and it's like it's reactive to what you need. So it's like, okay, well, we do have 2 healers, but they have 1 healer and 4 tanks. So one of our healers needs to be a tank, or they'll just roll over us, because the new meta is if you have more tanks, you win, because tanks are just heavy damage dealers now.
Oh no!
It is real.
So what is I'm curious. The big shield guy from the first game,
Reinhardt.
What the fuck is he doing in this game?
His stuff is mostly unchanged. He's like the only character whose shield has like been mostly unaffected. And I did think that they were relying a little bit too heavily on like give this character a big team shield that they can throw down for the tank class, but they drastically nerfed the healer Brigitta's shield. They took away Orisa's shield. She was like the number 2 shield person. And then they also nerfed I can never remember the mad scientist guy's name, but they nerfed his shield also. It's funny, they took Orisa, who is like she didn't have the strongest shield like Reinhardt, but she had the most versatile shield and the most like team protecty abilities, and they just were like, well, instead of giving her team protecty abilities and a shield, we'll give her full, like, just everything that she can do mitigates damage to herself. So now she's just like a totally unkillable monster who also can shoot you with her big gun.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a weird. So they've made all these little changes.
Is Overwatch 2 okay?
No. I mean, it's literally worse than Overwatch 1, and they killed Overwatch 1 to release it. Like, it literally has replaced Overwatch 1, and it's simultaneously like every change you made was bad, but also it is still fundamentally the same game.
Same. Yeah.
So like you killed this other game to release your new game that also isn't really even different, except it is a little bit different, and all of those changes are bad. So it's just like it is crazy. It's just crazy that they did that.
Pretty crazy.
Like, I cannot understand. I mean, I if I really forced myself to like see things from their perspective, it's like, okay, we have been working a lot on Overwatch 2. We've put a lot of money into making an Overwatch 2, but we have nothing.
Right.
And so in order to release it and have it matter, and because they can't release Overwatch 2 and then go, oops, I guess no one cares about this, we'll go back to supporting Overwatch 1 and just let Overwatch 2 die on the vine. They can't do that. So in order to...
They could.
Okay, theoretically, they technically could, but they never would, and no one, I think, has ever done that. I don't think any team has ever released an unpopular sequel and then abandoned it to go back and support the previous entry.
I believe that. I mean, that's what happened with EverQuest and Asheron's Call, maybe?
Okay.
These are, obviously, like, they're like old world MMOs. MMOs that are like of
Still
the
going
type
strong,
that don't
though.
exist anymore. EverQuest, I suppose it is.
Yeah,
EverQuest
my friend Ted, his friend just got a job working on EverQuest back end stuff.
That rules.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for that guy. But yeah, to that point, EverQuest 2 not still going strong. That game is gone.
Fair. Okay. But it is rare. It is
rare, but here's the thing is, this is such a weird situation because they could literally patch Overwatch 2 to be identical to the first one and still just say it's Overwatch 2.
Yes, they could. They could just add another person to the thing. They could give Orisa back her shield, although I think people really like the new Orisa because it is very selfish, and Overwatch 1 is a team game that cannot stop their selfish player base from determining the development direction.
Yeah, I mean, I get it's like, is this the premise of the game, like, fully coming to bear when you say it's a hero team shooter? It's two teams where everyone is the hero?
Yeah, basically. So like, if I'm thinking of things from their perspective, right, it's kind of like, okay, no one will play or care about this game that we haven't been working hard on this version of it. Maybe some other version of it, there was hard work going into it. But this is just it's just the Overwatch.
Someone is working hard on that PvE shit that still has not materialized.
It's basically just a patch. It's basically a patch of Overwatch 1. So it is not. I don't know. Yeah, someone maybe is working on the PvE thing, but it's sort of like, which again could have been a patch. They already had seasonal PvE stuff in Overwatch 1. So, but it's like we have to destroy Overwatch 1 just to get people into Overwatch 2, like literally to get them to choose it over the first one, because there's no other option. I mean, we can't. I'm thinking as like. Whatever team is on Overwatch 2 is like, we can't make our bosses just let us forget about Overwatch 2.
Do you think like with Bobby Kotick at the helm of Activision, like always, do you think Blizzard is just in their like Neversoft Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock era where like Bobby Kotick is just like, no, this is what you do after it's not popular. You just continue to run it into the ground until it's dead, and then you just find something else to run into the ground.
No, it might be the start of that, and I think we'll have to see where it goes. First of all, obviously, the undercurrent of this is that no one wants to cut Blizzard a break right now because everyone hates them and hates Activision for the horrible string of news stories and investigations into sexual harassment and all that other stuff.
One of my news stories is an update on that.
Great.
Activision Blizzard's attempt to dismiss gender discrimination lawsuit fails.
Oh, well, good.
So it continues.
Do you want to pivot into... Well, no, we'll talk more about games we've been playing, and we'll talk about that later. But no one's willing to cut them a break right now. And if I'm looking at Overwatch, it's sort of like... It doesn't feel like they're it doesn't feel like they're deep into trying to squeeze money out of a stone for Blizzard because, Overwatch 1 was a full-priced game that they sold to people who, they were buying, maybe they were buying premium currency to get loot boxes or whatever. And then now they're releasing this free-to-play game, obviously with the hope of tricking people into buying a battle pass, which
do you think the reason they patched it to make the game slightly worse was just they felt like it was their duty in making it a free to play game? Like, oh, it's free to play, we have to make it bad.
We have to make it bad. Yeah, maybe. But it's not bad in a way like the goal of a free to play game should be to be bad in a way that makes you want to spend money on it. But there is no amount of a battle pass that I can buy to fix the problems that Overwatch 2 has introduced. But again, it's like, I just can't get over how little different it is versus how now the other one has to die to bring this vision forward. Our Overwatch 2 vision is so powerful that it has to be the only Overwatch But really, it's just the same game, but 5% worse.
Heck, Keith, I'm just gonna say it. It's the fucking headphone jack thing all over again.
I will die before I play Overwatch 2 again. No.
Oh,
That's what I say about headphone jacks.
Okay.
I will never buy a phone with a headphone jack without a headphone jack.
yeah, but it is. I mean, it's a thing that comes up again and again and again in this digital high tech era that we live in, where companies just get to change things later. They're just like, no, we're
No.
pulling ahead with this, even though nobody wants it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not the choice is an illusion. We decide what you get. And it doesn't matter if nobody wants it because there's no alternative. I mean, there's really the headphone jack is a good example because it's like there's no alternative really to the headphone jack. There is no premium flagship headphone jack phone that you can get. Like there's a couple things, but it's like you can't go to Verizon and get a Sony Xperia or whatever they're called, or an Asus ROG phone. Like you can buy those off of the Asus website or the Sony website, but you can't get them on contract anywhere. So unless you're the kind of person who's literally dropping $1,500 cash on a phone, there's no headphone jack option for you. Just like there is no Overwatch 1.
Every time I'm momentarily reminded that there's a Republic of Gamers phone that exists, I just laugh and then immediately forget it.
I literally want one.
Why?
Headphone jack. It is
That's
the
not
newest,
a good enough reason.
It's the newest phone with a good headphone jack. It has a good... Okay, it doesn't just have a headphone jack. It has a good headphone jack. It has a massive battery. It has a good screen.
Right, but it says Republic of Gamers on it.
It doesn't. It says ROG.
Okay.
They do have... I'll say
you'll
this.
know.
I think that they have a pretty gaudy design, most of them.
Yeah.
But at least it's kind of fun instead of a horrible black square.
I thought it was a horrible black square.
No, not at all.
Maybe, am I thinking of an older version?
I don't think they
Google
ever
here.
have been like that.
I mean, it's a black square. I mean, what's different about it?
Well, they've got angles and stuff on them, and they've got lights all over them.
Well,
you know,
yeah,
I don't think
it's gamer shit. I thought you were against this.
I am. Okay, it is a little bit gamer shit. I'm not fully against LEDs. I have LEDs in my computer. You've seen my computer. There's LEDs in there.
I've seen it. I've witnessed these LEDs.
But it's also, by the way, it's hard to get stuff without LEDs these days.
I
So it's
know.
like
I
at some
know.
point it's sort of like, okay, do I want one thing with LEDs because it has to have LEDs and then everything else is no LEDs, or should I just get a bunch of LEDs because it's really not even more expensive?
I know. It's the thing that we've talked about before where it's like, at a certain point, at what point are you paying more for a phone, even more expensive than the ROG phone, just so that it's not a gamer phone?
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong conceptually with the gamer phone. Great screen, big battery. It's got a good DAC in it and an actual headphone jack. And the back of it has like a design instead of just like being nothing. I mean,
Yeah,
this is...
They're not gaudy. If you're sensitive to the exact type of like Republic of Gamer, like anime sci-fi panel stuff, that might bother you because that's what's going on in the back of the phone. Is it looks like it's like a phone from Gundam or something.
Yeah, it's a little gaudy. But it's gaudy in a sea of literally everything else is nothing. So I pick gaudy. I really would like phones.
Lottie Dottie pick phone Gotti. Is that something?
Yeah, that's something. I really would like phones to look interesting instead of horrible and stupid.
Yeah,
And
okay.
boring. Like right now, the best you can get is that the stupid camera bump that they force you to have on the back of your phone is like kind of a fun shape.
And now, I haven't looked that much into it, but it is funny to me that the iPhone notch has now migrated. It's now actually, we thought maybe they'd get the notch off the screen, but it's actually descending. It's actually
honestly,
moving towards the center.
I gotta say, I haven't had an iPhone in a really long time. I love that. The dynamic island, is that what they call it?
Yeah.
I think it's great.
You love it? What's great about it?
Well,
I haven't seen it in motion.
Oh, well, there you go. If you haven't seen it in motion, then you see it in motion, and then you'll be like, okay, I get it. But real quick, if you haven't heard, the iPhone notch has been sort of animated to sort of appear like an organic, like almost like a digital pet, and it like grows and shrinks for notifications.
You mean like a digital pet?
That's the vibe I get from it. Like it's sort of, it's alive. It's part of.
Are you getting Tamagotchi vibes off this thing?
No, not exactly like that. More like a desktop widget. Like you'd have just like a blob.
Oh no, it's not a Bonzi Buddy, is it?
It's more, or like it's more like the Windows paperclip or like the little dog, where it's like it just it grows and shrinks and moves and it looks alive and it reacts to.
Looks alive.
It looks alive. Just go fucking look at it if you are confused.
It's dynamic. No, I know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, you said I had to see it, so
yeah. So it's sort of like, well, we need the notch to be here, and so instead of it being a sort of design liability, obviously everyone would prefer there to not be a notch, but we're not going back to no selfie camera, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of ways, and we can't go back to no selfie camera, and we can't go back to bezels. It's illegal to have a bezel. I like a
All
bezel.
right, I'm watching the Dynamic Island announcement sizzle reel. Okay, this is.
Has it started moving?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that this has changed anything I thought about the Dynamic Island.
Well, so it has.
I guess
let
I
me
get
finish
it.
my thought. It's changed from a design liability where it's like, we have got to take a chunk of the screen and use it for a camera because that's just what we do now. Sorry, I was getting a spam phone call.
Well, no, actually, what it is it's not that, right? It's the opposite. It wasn't that they took a chunk away from the screen to put a selfie camera on. It was that the screen expanded to fill the edges of the phone for no discernible reason.
But I think that you're right that is how it happened. But I think that I think that it's both are true, but also they mean the same thing, right? Because you could also make the phone bigger and keep the bezel. So they removed the bezel, put the screen where the bezel was, and didn't move the selfie camera. But it's sort of like you could have gotten a bigger phone at a more normal aspect ratio if you had just kept the bezel, right? But no, you got rid of the bezel and you extended the screen to make it like weirdly long, and now there's a hole in the screen where the screen should be. And instead of just leaving it there and being like, well, we all just have to deal with a hole punch in our screens.
I know,
it's still true, but they go, well, we will build we will work that into the design aesthetic of the phone and make it a functional space that sort of disguises that it's just not screened there by making that the black space that we need for the hole punch do other things functionally. And it's sort of just I just think it's a clever design to make use of something that is trash that we've sort of decided has to be there. I say we, and I mean phone companies who design phones.
I mean it's clever. It's clever. It's a good use. It's probably
cute. I think it's cute. I don't think that this sizzle reel does not display it in a cute way.
No.
But the original announcement trailer I thought made it look cute.
No, but
or not the
Shut
announcement
the
trailer.
fuck up.
Me?
No, my phone.
Not the announcement trailer. The like stage presentation. It looked cuter. What's going on with your phone?
My phone just fucking called 911 because I was trying to fucking silence it.
I should say in case
I have to go take a pause from the podcast to go talk to a police officer in a few minutes, we'll all know why.
I just want to get it out there in case it's not clear from just this episode. If, for whatever reason, this is your only episode. I am a virulent iPhone hater.
Yeah.
I hate iPhones. I really don't like them.
This is the crux that I was trying to get to, is what is bothering me about this dynamic island thing is not anything about it. It's that it is so strange to me that there's a type of person who was like angry about the notch and is now like rock hard about the dynamic island. And it's like, it's the same thing.
I feel like I've explained it pretty well, though.
You have. I just think I think the dynamic island to me struck me as something that was something that a notch hater would see and go, that's the same. This doesn't solve my problem. And it's like blowing my mind that there's a huge contingent of people that for them it does solve the problem, and I'm just really confused.
Okay. I'm gonna sort of restate what I've already said, but I'm gonna say it in a slightly more plain way.
All right.
The essence of a notch hater is someone who does not really use their selfie cam. This is me. I'm not like so mad. I understand why the notch is there. I don't like it. I think it's bad. But I'm not like mad about it all the time. So they don't use a selfie camera. So they're like, this hole in my screen does nothing. All it does is take up usable space when I'm trying to do what I actually use my phone for, which is watching video.
Yeah.
And now, okay, it's still going to be there bugging me when I'm watching video, or I'll just do the smaller screen thing that most phones can do. But at least now it does something like as part of the phone's UI and is like speaking, I think, a really readable design language, especially on iPhones, which I think the gestures of the last 4 or 5 years on Apple products are fully bad. I'm always fucking up with them.
Like kind of like how I was trying to silence a phone call I was getting, and instead I called 911.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. Yeah. And or like, to get your notifications, you pull down from here, but to get the settings, you pull down from here, or to get your to go back to the home screen, you swipe up from here, but to see all your apps, you swipe up from 4 millimeters over. I think all that stuff sucks, and so it's just nice on an iPhone to see like a really readable, really legible design aesthetic choice. And it seems like, oh, can I do a bunch of stuff just by tapping the notch, the thing that used to do nothing?
All right.
So I think that's really what it is.
I'm also not
100% sure you can tap the notch, but I think if they're gonna do the dynamic island thing, they're gonna be gesturizing the notch area, which I think is fine because you don't really touch up there anyway. But yeah, so that is my pitch for the. I'm still not getting an iPhone because they don't have a goddamn headphone jack. So
right,
maybe Android will copy Dynamic Island at some point.
Well, what they need to do is put a headphone jack onto the Dynamic Island.
Oh,
you can just plug straight into there.
Jack. I'm even past the point. Like,
we finally found room for the headphone jack. It was on the Dynamic Island.
I don't even give a shit about the headphone jack thing anymore. Like, what? They're just gonna put back in a shitty headphone jack that's just gonna sound even worse than their little dongles already sound. Whatever. Who cares? That's why I want the ROG phone. It has actual good DAC in there. Keith
is deep on DACs now.
Well, I'm not deep on them. I think DACs are like anything better than a bad DAC can ruin a product. Like when was the last time you put plugged a headphone into an original Game Boy, right? Like
pretty recently.
How did it sound?
Well, it's hard to tell because it's all Game Boy bleeps and bloops, but I mean,
Right, but
they
when-
sound great.
Do they sound great? Okay.
I mean, yeah, they sound great if what you're looking to hear is the sounds a Game Boy sound chip can make.
Well, but also, Game Boy sound chips, I feel like, you're listening to some like chip tune that someone made with a Game Boy sound chip sounds way better than that same sound chip makes when you plug. I don't know, maybe the Game Boy has a good DAC and I'm just misremembering.
This is possibly a bad example because I don't know what the Game Boy DAC is like, but what does suck about a Game Boy is the speaker. So headphones was always
fair.
better.
Yeah. Anyway, DACs turn the digital signal into an analog signal, and when they're bad, they add distortion, and when they're good, they don't. And you don't need an expensive DAC to not add distortion. The
other thing DAC does is he mans the tow cable in Luke's snowspeeder in the Battle of Hoth, but it didn't go that well for him.
No, it didn't. I guess all I'm saying is I don't want you to say I'm deep into DACs because I think that would imply that I'm spending lots of money on DACs that are functionally identical to very inexpensive DACs.
Okay.
The ROG phone has a good DAC. The Sony Xperia phone, is it the Xperia? What the fuck is it called?
I thought they killed the Xperia name.
Sony phone.
Ericsson? Is Ericsson still a thing?
No, definitely no.
Okay.
It's the Xperia. I was right. It's the
right.
Xperia 1 and the Xperia 5 and the Xperia 10. Those are like their flagship phones. Anyway, the RG phone and the Sony Xperia phones, I think, have good DACs in them, and then none of the other ones do. Like the Pixel phone sounds bad.
Boo. All right, I'll be right back. I got a bathroom.
The Pixel 4a or 5a, one of those was the last one with a headphone jack. Leave that in. Hello.
Oh, hi.
Hi, I'm back.
Hi. Did you... And you can say no if you're busy, but did you want to record a podcast right now?
Yeah.
All right.
We've been doing that.
Have we?
Yeah, we have.
Oh, I thought we were just talking.
Nope.
Okay. Why don't I tell you what I've been playing this week?
Okay.
I'll think about that.
Okay.
Well, I played a lot of and completed The Legacy of Goku 2.
Nice. Yeah, this is a follow-up. This is a
Follow-up.
month-long story we've been following.
It's done now. I think it's a really fun little game.
Okay.
You know what it is? Keith?
What is it?
It's like it gives me the vibe of like a Lego Star Wars, but for Dragon Ball, where it's like it ends up being a more satisfying fan experience because it's not even trying to be like the source material. Does that make sense?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like on the favorable side of the uncanny valley. Is that something?
It is. I don't know, because I think of the Lego games, and I think of them as being a sort of faithful, pantomime of. It's like, what is the story that we would tell if we had to retell this entire story exactly as Legos?
Yeah.
Silently, but also with some jokes.
Yeah, and you're right. And maybe it's not a perfect comparison, though.
But it's the spirit is the same.
I think Lego, see, it's right in the title. It's Lego Sea of Goku 2.
Lego Sea of Goku 2.
Same thing. It goes for a fun, Dragon Ball, it's a funny show, and it leans into the funniness because it's a Game Boy Advance game. It only does like cute and funny. You can't do like badass on a Game Boy.
That's a good, I don't know.
But you mentioned Lego Star Wars, or I mentioned Lego Star Wars, but then while you were talking about what a Lego Star Wars is, it reminded me I recently tried the new Lego Star Wars game because I heard it was good.
Right.
I saw
the new one, as in the sequel trilogy.
No. It is called Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga.
Oh, so it is all three. Are they remakes of the first 6 and then
completely new?
Wow.
Nothing of it. It's like as if pretend the old Lego Star Wars games never even existed.
Okay, but it's still based off the same movie, so can't be that new,
right? Same source material, but one could imagine there could be quite a lot of room for new interpretations since Legos are so malleable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I saw YouTube.
I actually think Legos are particularly brittle, but I understand that they're versatile.
No. They're so strong. That's why they're so expensive. It's like a really good plastic polymer.
Now, but so they're not. I'm not brittle, not weak and brittle.
Okay.
You can be strong, and actually, the stronger you are, brittle is a measure of flexibility, not strength.
You're right.
And so it is the Lego is unable to bend, really. And that is what makes it brittle. It's the rigidity
that we're talking
yes.
about. Good point, Keith. Good point. And thank you for interrupting me to bring that up because we couldn't have let that go unspoken.
You're right. You would have looked back on that.
You would have regretted that later. You would have regretted that afterwards. But okay, so I saw a YouTube video from a YouTuber, not like a game reviewer person, but they talked about how they won me over with talking about how they have a lot of childhood nostalgia for the original Lego Star Wars game, right? Like, I don't want, if someone's going to tell me the new one's good, I don't want it from somebody who doesn't give a shit about these games. It's just like, yeah, whatever, seems the same to me, rubber stamp.
Right.
This person was like, even though I have such fond childhood nostalgia for the original game, I was still so delighted by this new one, blah, 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 for reasons.
Is this going to end with you disagreeing with this person? Is that why you told me straight up that they're not a game reviewer? Because you were like, I should have listened to a game reviewer.
Well, I was just letting you know because it's pertinent, I suppose.
Okay.
But yeah. So I played like the first level. It lets you pick. It lets you start at the beginning of any of the 3 trilogies. So you can go Phantom Menace, New Hope, or the other one, Force Awakens. I went New Hope, obviously.
Right, the correct choice.
But here's the thing: is it's like you talk about how you put the Legos in, you have them not talk. These Legos talk. And see, they talked in the Lord of the Rings Lego game, and what they did in that one was
one of the Batman ones.
Yeah, they took in the Lord of the Rings one, they took serious lines directly from the movie, like literally that's like the audio clip from Fellowship of the Ring, and they put it in the game, and then the comedy comes from you have these serious lines from the movie juxtaposed with a very silly thing happening on screen in the Lego game that makes comedy out of this situation.
Okay.
But this is not what's happening in this new Lego Star Wars. These are just new lines by new voice actors, just Chad Vader being Lego Darth Vader or whatever.
And it's just like a guy going like, I'm
Darth Vader. And it's like, and when Darth Vader shows up, it's like tonally the Lego game got like really serious. It like honed in like, oh no, it's Darth Vader. And it's like,
right,
bro, it's Legos. It's like,
okay.
You're not supposed to be intimidated by Lego Darth Vader. You're supposed to laugh at it because it's silly that Darth Vader is normally intimidating, but now he's a Lego.
But now let me ask you this, though. is it a joke that they would try to make you scared of Lego Darth Vader? They're not trying to be like, isn't it funny how serious we're playing this?
No. What they're doing is it's like fully just like Disney era zombie Star Wars, where it's like, we have to preserve the integrity of the Darth Vader brand. Darth Vader must be intimidating. It's in his character Bible.
It's in his contract, right?
Yeah, it's in his contract. He has to be intimidating and he can't be the butt of jokes. And whatever. I didn't put that much time into it, but I did pay $60 for the fucking thing. Against all good judgment, clearly.
Right.
And that was my impression.
I think that we're learning a lesson about trusting YouTubers.
I know. I forget why I did it.
Why didn't you? Well, okay. Well, I'm looking at.
Well, here's the thing: is
Metacritic.
Maybe I was just, I just didn't feel like it needed that much.
You didn't need that much convincing.
Interrogation. Yeah, I was just like, hey, will this make me feel good like the old ones do? And someone went, yeah, it will. And I went, good.
Right. I can see that. God, it's so hard these days to find outlets that I recognize reviewing games aggregated onto Metacritic. Like, it's just,
I know, right?
A bunch of horse shit.
These days, the only game site that I'm aware of that I see on Metacritic is God is a Geek.
Game Informer and IGN are on there.
That was a joke. I only know God is a Geek from Metacritic, but they're always there.
Ooh, The Guardian.
Wow.
That's how you know
oh my
that
God.
it's real.
What does The Guardian think about Lego Star Wars?
4 out of 5.
Wow.
Or however they rate it, I don't know. 8 out of 10.
80.
Oh no, that's Game Informer. Yes, I'm happy with my cookies. Keith Stewart gives it a 4 out of 5.
I don't trust anybody named Keith.
I know. Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga is a well-made and highly entertaining addition to this long series. It's not doing anything radically new with the recipe, but it doesn't really need to. This is a game. It sounds like what you're saying is it is doing something radically new, and that it's bad, and it's the voice acting.
That's why I wanted the opinion of somebody with specific fondness for the original 2 Lego Star Wars games, because I wanted to know if it was bringing the same energy, and I don't think it is.
And again, Keith Stewart saying this is a game about nostalgia, not just for Star Wars, but for the Lego games themselves.
Yeah.
These games have always sought to conjure our favorite family movie franchises as we choose to remember them, shorn of all the boring, indulgent, problematic bits. My God, even the Phantom Menace is bearable here. So this guy's obviously a moron.
So obviously is not a... we can't trust this person.
Right. We're Phantom Menace likers only here. Andrew Reiner on Game Informer saying...
wow, he's still at Game Informer.
Yep. A continual joy in the Skywalker Saga is the pursuit of unlocking all the characters. Given how big the adventure is, this is a dizzying proposition, but thankfully you won't feel like you are digging for a needle in a haystack when looking for a specific character you want. You can exchange well-earned studs for clues that lead to character locations and unlocking requirements. Studs can also be spent to enhance skills and unlock new abilities for different character classes. I like the newfound depth that TT Games has applied to the tried and true Lego formula. Despite being periodically uneventful, the Skywalker Saga is a thorough and fun examination of all 3 Star Wars movie trilogies. It delivers the same sensation of being overwhelmed as opening a Blu-ray collection of films and not knowing which one you should start with. The player can bounce between trilogies and veer off a story path at any time to explore a galaxy far, far away. Some discoveries may be as dull as sand, but others may deliver something great, like Babu Frick as a playable character, or seeing what Kylo Ren's bedroom looked like. 8 out of 10.
We are all wanting to play as Babu Frick.
And
I am always saying this.
And a surprisingly high percent of us are wanting to know what Kylo Ren's bedroom looks like.
Yeah. All right, listen. Like I said, I only played the game for like 20 minutes. I gave it a very cursory...
No, I think what you said is you don't need to experience more of the game to be off put by the thing that you, because you didn't say the Lego part is boring or I don't like unlocking new characters. You just said that the voice acting is weird and doesn't really work.
Yeah, that's true.
And who knows? Maybe the rest of it does work. Maybe. I always thought that Lego Batman 2, which I never played, I always thought it seemed fun that it was voice acted and had like gags and like jokes.
Right, but and I'm guessing in Lego Batman 2, because I've also not played it, but it's like a original storyline that they made up. It's not like they're reliving.
Yeah, I believe that's true.
These 9 Star Wars movies that have already been relived in Lego before.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that was just I got very bored and sleepy when I played it, because it was like the game seemed to think I was genuinely there to get a blow-by-blow retelling of A New Hope, and it's like, oh no, guys, I've definitely seen this movie.
Yeah.
Like, like the dialogue just felt like it was slowing things down.
Yeah, and there is a sort of weirdness to, I'm thinking of what Keith Stewart from The Guardian said at the end of that review, which was like Lego games give us movies we love with all the boring bits shorn off, as if grinding in video games isn't essentially boring. But also like the thing that we like about a film is the beat by beat like bullet point of plot.
Yeah,
and it's
or action scenes.
The thing that I like about Star Wars is like feeling sad watching Luke Skywalker stare out over the Tatooine horizon to a mournful French trumpet. Like that's what I like. What I like about Star Wars is like watching him sort of excitedly shoot down a TIE fighter, like after having basically just left his stupid hometown. Like that is the stuff that I like about, like, I like the, the parts of the movie that are really orange, and then also the parts of the movie that are really blue. Like that's what I like about Star Wars, and Lego Star Wars isn't going to have any of that, I don't think.
No.
And I love Lego Star Wars. It is fun to jump around as Darth Maul and throw a lightsaber, but it is like a fundamentally different experience than watching the movies. Like it is not like ugh, great, awesome, I get to play this fun game and experience Star Wars without the chore of watching a 2-hour movie. Like that's just weird.
That was kind of what I was getting at when I was talking about the Legacy of Goku thing, is like what I liked about the Lego games is it's a way to engage with Star Wars, but that is like so different from the experience of watching Star Wars. Like, because I don't want Lego to try to be like watching Star Wars, because then it's just going to be watching Star Wars, but everyone's a Lego, and that's not anything.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching those cutscenes at the beginning of Lego Skywalker Saga going, I don't think this is anything.
Yeah. Maybe this is like a flaw of being the kind of person that's seen these movies 24 times.
Oh, you don't think this Star Wars children's game that was made when I was 32 is specifically for me?
Well, I'm just trying to think of... No, I think it's...
No, you're right. No, you are right.
I think it is made specifically for you, but a version of you that hasn't seen Star Wars in 6 years.
Maybe.
Yeah. Or something. Yeah. I don't know.
Or something.
But again, I just think that what people want from, like, media is changing. And, my opinion becoming much worse and stupider. I think it is what people want, is to like just sort of have the beat by beat plot of Star Wars retold to you by worse actors while you are a Lego man. Or like people do just want to like read the wiki page for people are becoming Courtney.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah, people are becoming more like Courtney.
Where you experience something not by watching it, but by reading the Wikipedia page, watching 5 YouTube breakdowns of that thing. I hate to admit it, I've become this person. This is part of what I was trying not to say all the times that we were interrogating how rarely I watch movies, is that I actually like listen to movie reviews like podcasts and YouTube like at a rate of at least 10-1 to like watching films, possibly more.
Yeah.
Because I guess it's not really like that for me for games or for other things, but I guess for movies, on some level, I actually do just like hearing about it more than watching it. Like when I'm hearing about it, I'm like, maybe I should watch this someday, but I know I'm not gonna.
And what is that?
I think because fundamentally they're two totally different experiences. One is the experience of someone telling me about a thing,
right,
and the other is the experience of watching a movie.
But you're not,
and I actually like the first one better.
But you're not really even being told about the movie. Like you're being told sort of like you're hearing someone tell you about the edges.
Yeah,
it's like you're just getting the crust. It's like, what if instead of eating sandwiches, you just like to have someone else's crust?
I see what you're saying.
And it's like, yeah, there's a little bit of ham in here. That's good enough.
This is
I don't really like a full bite of ham and cheese. I just want the crust and a little bit of ham.
Exactly.
Maybe
you're coming at it from the perspective of someone who likes watching movies a lot more than they like hearing someone talk about a movie.
No, I listen to like 25 podcasts.
Oh, okay.
I love listening to people talk about things.
Oh, okay. So but you still think of it as the crust? What if it's someone else's sandwich?
It's the crust because you're not actually getting the substantial thing of what a sandwich is.
But what if you're getting the substantial thing of what hearing someone talk about a movie is? You know? Like you're not getting any critical analysis of Star Wars Phantom Menace by watching it.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yeah,
Only from yourself.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not the same. I'm just saying it's a different thing.
Oh, yeah, you get a different person's... But I can also do that. I can also listen to a podcast of people talking about The Phantom Menace, and I have.
Ooh.
I guess I'm just saying... I guess I'm not... How do you even know if someone is right or not if you're just listening to them talk about it? Like, not right, like correct, incorrect. But it's just like you just have to take everything everyone says about a movie at face value.
Only if I don't watch the movie for myself.
Right, and you don't. We just said that.
Yeah.
So you've just got like all of these other people's thoughts of movies in your head.
Yeah. But
I don't know.
But the thing is, it's like it doesn't bother me because I didn't even want to watch the movies that much in the first place.
But then why do you want to hear about them?
Some of them, but then again, you know that I also have some things where it's like a classic movie from 1967, and I'll just be like, don't tell me anything. I might see it someday.
Right, yeah. It's literally the worst of both worlds. Because you don't ever want to hear me tell you about something.
Yeah.
But then you'll go and hear about it from some YouTuber or whatever.
No, but I might pass up a movie discussion video because I'm like, oh, well, that's a movie I want to see.
Right.
I haven't watched any analysis of Annihilation because I heard it was good, but then I never saw it, so I'm still waiting to see Annihilation.
Which one is Annihilation?
Natalie Portman, and that's all I know about it.
Oh, right. Yes, I do remember Annihilation.
Is it good?
I haven't seen it. 2018 science fiction psychological horror film written and directed by Alex Garland, based off the 2014 novel of the same name by Jeff Vandermeer. I was told that I should watch this recently, but I haven't seen it. I don't do a lot of horror, but sci-fi horror I can do.
the Jordan Peele movies. I saw trying
Nope
to know
recently.
as little about those as I can. Yeah, we talked about it last time.
Just watch Nope this week.
Why?
Because it's 2 hours and it's good.
Huh.
It only takes 1/12 of a single day to watch.
1/12,
and then
but I'm already giving like 7/12 to the post office.
Right, and give yourself back 1/12.
But think about, and I'm not saying I'm certainly not saying that Nope isn't a 2-hour experience worth experiencing, but have you considered how many episodes of the Red Ribbon Army saga I could get through in Dragon Ball in that time?
8, 7, 7.
6.
6 or 7. Well, without ads, it's like 22 minutes. So it's like 7.
Skip the intro. 6
Right.
or 7.
Yeah, 6 or 7.
You know, when I say it like that, it's not that compelling.
But yeah, it's not that compelling. And also, actually, Nope runtime. Oh no, I was wrong. Never mind. Yeah, so I was right. It's a 2-hour movie.
Okay.
Basic, almost exactly.
Yeah, if you were going to tell me it was 90 minutes, that's a big selling point.
We started this discussion by me saying people are acting more like Courtney.
Yeah.
And so before you spend time defending how you consume media, you should think about if you want to be more or less like Courtney.
No, I do. I think about this.
Do you?
I think it's something we all have to consider. How much like Courtney are we? Do we feel comfortable with the amount of Courtney that we are?
Yeah.
Courtney mindfulness, self-Courtney mindfulness.
Yeah. Have a self-Courtney. What's Courtney been up to?
Getting engaged and living in Texas and hating it.
How long has she been in Texas for?
A couple of years?
I think actually she was very new to Texas the last time we did a stream with her.
Yeah.
We should do a Courtney stream.
We should always be doing another Courtney stream. Yeah, I guess we'll have to catch up. Ask her how Dallas is. Probably better. It's probably getting better over there.
Yeah, probably Dallas is probably way better. Yeah, I heard Dallas is improving.
All right, let me I don't think I have anything else from my What You Been Playing.
We do have something else.
We did the Fighter Z stream. That was fun.
Yep. Do you want to talk about the Breakers?
We played the Breakers.
Yeah, do you want to talk about the Breakers?
Well, it's a game podcast and it's a recently released game that we played, so I guess it would almost be like malpractice if we didn't talk about the Breakers.
The Breakers is hard to talk about because people seem to really want to know how it is because it sounds so fun but doesn't look so fun. And the issue is that it's sort of like, like in a sensory deprivation tank when the water is perfectly matched to your body.
Where is this going?
So you can't tell if you're in, you can't tell that you're in water because it's the same temperature as the air.
Right.
The Breakers is sort of like that. Like it's almost exactly as fun as I would be having if I wasn't playing it. So I can't tell if it's good or not. What? It's almost playing it is almost exactly as fun as not playing it.
Listen, I'm Keith is being very cute right now, and what he's revealing is that his love for Dragon Ball and the premise of Breakers is so strong that he cannot admit to himself that Breakers sucks.
No, it doesn't suck.
I'm here to tell you, it's not a good game. It won't make you feel good to play.
But it doesn't suck.
It doesn't suck, but it just isn't there. It's like
no.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think it not being all there precludes it from being fun.
Well, no, but I think you and I have been hemming and hawing over, is this game any good, for like 2 weeks now.
Right.
And I think what we're dancing around is that it's just not. Like, we would have said it was by now if it was.
But I think that you just proved my point exactly. Which is like, we have been hemming and hawing of if the game is fun or not. And what I was saying is, it is almost exactly as fun as not playing it, is what I said.
So
you can't tell if it's good or not, or if it's fun or not, because it's so minimally different than not playing it would be.
I don't even understand.
Because being fun, right? Something being fun is like almost directly you're almost directly comparing it to whatever you stopped doing to start doing something else, right? Like bowling isn't that fun, but it's definitely more fun than some things. And so if you went from doing something shitty to bowling, you'd be like, oh my God, bowling is so much fun right now. Like bowling is definitely more fun than driving to go bowling. Which is why I think people enjoy bowling so much, is because you have to do something boring like driving to go bowling to get to bowling.
Bowling is fun.
And I think that a lot of people who don't have a lot of other fun things going on think bowling is really fun because they're positively comparing bowling to their other not fun things that they do.
Well, obviously, Keith, I'm talking about real bowling. Candlepin
bowling, right, which is about, definitely more fun than regular bowling.
I think it's just bowling, but harder. Oh, it's harder. I think it's actually harder, which is the secret.
Candlepin bowling is much harder than big ball bowling.
Yeah. You're not getting close to a 300 in Candlepin unless you're like the world's most insane player.
Almost no one has ever gotten a 300 in it.
Really?
Oh, yes. It is. Professionals do not get 300.
That makes sense. The ball's so small and the pins are skinnier.
Yeah.
It's a double whammy.
It's much harder to candlepin bowl than to.
You think the professionals are putting the bumpers on? Maybe they need the bumpers.
Professionals are definitely playing with the bumpers, yes. Because it's more fun.
It's more fun that way. I don't think it's more fun. It bothers me when people want to play with the bumpers.
You also, the other major difference between candlepin and big ball bowling, you don't remove the fallen ones. They stay there between bowls.
In which kind?
Candlepin. So you can screw yourself by like knocking a fallen pin, which in regular bowling get removed and reset.
I thought the pins did get removed and reset.
They do not.
Then what's
in big ball bowling?
What false memories do I have? I've never been big ball bowling.
Never?
Well, I guess I have actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
Maybe you're thinking of just Wii bowling.
Maybe I'm thinking of just Wii bowling. It's probably what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Probably thinking of worlds. That's what happened to the bowling industry, was that bowling was only fun if you compared it to the boring drive over, and then once you could bowl in your house with Wii bowling, it was all over.
There are never mind. I can't figure it out. Anyway, what were we talking about? Why are we talking about bowling?
Breakers.
Right. So it's hard to say because, streaming is it's literally, but it is sort of loosely work, right? And so it's hard to tell. I think that if you have friends to play Breakers with, Breakers is fun. And if you want to go play Breakers on your own, it's not as fun, not even close.
Yeah, that seems true.
And I think that us doing Breakers as a stream makes it 5 to 15% less fun than it would be if we were doing it on our own. And so I think that at the end of the day, I've got to admit that Breakers is like slightly fun. And it was a big missed opportunity, and those streams are full of us saying what we think they could have done to make it better.
Yeah. So I guess I just realized as you were talking, we didn't say what it was.
Dragon Ball The Breakers is an asymmetrical 6v1, 7v1 multiplayer game where one player is a Dragon Ball Z big bad and everyone else are extras who have to run and hide from the Dragon Ball Z villain called the Raider and slowly collect energy in order to launch a time machine that will send the Raider to another dimension and save the city that you're in. There are also several other ways to win the game, like collecting enough power that you can transform into a Z fighter and all gang up on the Raider. That seems like it's pretty hard to do. We've only seen it happen one time, and it was to Kylie, who is not a good Raider. No offense. I also wasn't a good Raider.
We won that way against a raider once.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Okay. You can
So like the gameplay kind of generally breaks down into like when you're the raider, you're basically just going around doing attacks at the players you can find, and the players, it's mostly running around looking for chests and then opening them and seeing if you found the stuff you're looking for in the chest.
Well, the other thing that you're doing is there's like refugees who are like non-player character extras, and as the survivors, you're supposed to be rescuing the refugees, and as the raider, you're supposed to be killing them. And I believe that and killing survivors is the main way that Dragon Ball Z obviously is all about, powering up into new forms. That is how your low-level raider will power up into their final form. And that is like usually when you win, is in your final or penultimate form. Killing everyone as they slowly have less and less land that matters, because you're activating keys in different regions of the map, and so less of the map becomes like play area.
Yeah.
So I think it's fun. I do think it's fun. I just think it's only a little fun. And I think it would be a better time with like a group of 4 instead of a group of 2, and also it'd be a little more fun to do it on our own instead of streaming.
I'm not sure that I don't know that playing it without streaming would make it more fun to me. I think it would make it the same. I think it might make it less fun actually to me. And that's just me.
I think it depends.
That's just
I don't always
special
think
something.
I don't always think that streaming a game makes it less fun, but it always means that I'm like slightly distracted by the other things you have to do while doing a stream. Like if I like, sometimes a game is less fun because I have to talk for being on stream, where it's like if we were able to be quiet for a minute, I would be having more fun because I can just focus when I want to focus and not have to like worry about it, or also, and like also not have to worry about. So what's that?
Focusing is what I'm bad at, so that doesn't help.
And it's also just like not having the internal barometer of like everything that we're talking about has to be interesting, or the little alarm in my head goes off.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing is like, to me, when we're playing Breakers, it's almost like I'm silencing that alarm because I'm like, well, Breakers is inherently not a very interesting thing to look at.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, that's sort of the thing is like,
maybe
I
you
don't
have
think
to-
that those Breaker streams are like particularly amazing or anything. Like it's not the best streaming we've ever done. And they're not bad. Go watch
but
them.
we show off those games.
We
You
show off
see
the
'em.
games, yeah. And I think part of it is like, yeah, it's hard to it is hard to both play the game and have a fun stream when the game is like not super interesting to look at.
Yeah.
But also requires a fair bit of concentration, like having to look out for the heartbeat and keep like in your head how far away the raider is, and like try to remember like these maps that are like very cookie cutter, like have I been here, have I not been here, has someone else been here, where should I go, I have all these abilities, I have to keep track of my energy level, I have to figure out
running
where
into a new area and just finding nothing but already opened chests from other players that had already been there is pretty disappointing.
Have you been using your grappling hook a lot? That was a big change for me when I started
a
like
medium
like
amount.
every time I have a grappling hook available, I'm using it because you can just the range on it is astonishing. I mean, it's like 250 meters or something.
Yeah, it's very long.
So that is a good way to like be like, oh, there's nothing good over here. Well, then I'm just gonna fuck as far away as I can. Anyway, yeah, the Breakers. It's $20. I think if you can get a group together and play Raiders, I think you should. I think it's an interesting game. I hope that they make it better. I hope that they make it better instead of making it worse. The big thing that I'll say, and I think that you agree with me, but I think you agree with me on this. The original ads made it look like you were going to be Oolong and Bulma and like Yamcha and like Tien all trying to not be killed by Frieza while you're waiting for Goku to show up or whatever, which is a classic Dragon Ball Z bit of like, we have to not die while Goku's busy.
Yeah.
And then Goku can show up and it could be the Goku show for 20 episodes. I thought that that's what it was going to be. And when it turned out that it was like a make your own character and you're a nobody thing and you just turned into those other characters. And that was actually like your super move was being Yamcha for 20 seconds. That was really sort of a cold shower for me on the game.
Yeah, totally.
I really liked the idea of like,
and I think the game as it is kind of belies the fact that was the original premise for the game at some point, because you still get an Oolong and Bulma skin that you can wear, and when you're Oolong, you have Oolong's shapeshift abilities. It's like they made one hero character and thought they were gonna make like 7 more, and then just went just make it Oolong.
I think that the way to improve this game immediately and with the least amount of work possible is to remove all of the create your own character stuff and then put in a bunch of my rule that I came up with on stream was put in a bunch of Dragon Ball Z characters that can't fly, like Bulma and Oolong and Roshi and Hercule, and those are your characters and they each have an ability or two. And I think that would be about 1 billion times better than what they have now.
Yeah.
And figure out something to do so that not everything is is like the weird chests, the Capsule Corp thing. Like just
they even call them crates. Like they picked the least the least schnazzy like term they could have.
Because
picked.
the conceit is that Capsule Corp has this time machine and they dropped keys to activate it all around the city. And so you're opening these Capsule Corp crates in order to find the keys. And then it really just ends up being like go from door to door to open as many crates as possible.
A totally specious premise, since Capsule Corp's whole business is miniaturizing things into tiny capsules.
Right.
What are these crates lying around?
What are these crates? They do have Capsule Corp capsules as items that you can find. But anyway, what a weird game.
What a weird game. Grounded is out, but I don't know that either of us have played it.
I have played it, and I haven't played it recently.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
I played it when it hit early access.
Yeah, I'm really excited to play more of it. I've been trying to organize a cross stream with friends at the table to do like a group Grounded game, but we kept having to postpone it, and I might just end up doing it on Run Button. But it's
cool.
I'm excited that it seems good. People seem to like it. Well, do you have a story about it?
Well, no, not really. Just that I have been kind of surprised with the strength with which Grounded appreciation has come back. Like, I thought the story was going to be, we were all excited about Grounded when it came out in early access, but there wasn't a lot to it, and now it's out, and nobody's interested. But instead, everyone's like, they added so much stuff. It's great now. I can't stop playing it.
Great.
So
that's awesome.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Good for them. Obsidian needed a win. They have had
Is that an Obsidian game?
That's an Obsidian game.
I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
Because it does not
It doesn't
look like an Obsidian.
Yeah.
And speaking of Obsidian, this is a totally random thing, but if you have Amazon Prime this month, you can get Fallout New Vegas Ultimate Edition for free.
Ooh.
It's one of the, I guess Prime does free games now, like they're at the Epic Store. Or whatever. I guess that everyone is giving away games now.
Yeah, fair. It's been a while since there was like an Obsidian game that I was really into. Obviously they've got that like, I guess I don't even know. Is it Avowed? Is that the one that's in like the forest?
I don't know.
I'm talking about though?
No.
It's like, it looks like the Sea of Thieves engine, but it's like about music and
this is total news
and
to
forest me. And you would absolutely recognize it in a trailer if I showed you the trailer.
Definitely not Avowed, because Steam doesn't know what that is.
Well, it's not out.
It's not Wildermyth, is it?
No, Wildermyth is a totally different. That is a
Yeah.
storybook style tactics game. Is it? Oh no, never mind. Yeah, I don't.
You can't search by developer on Steam.
No. Grounded, Tyranny.
Obsidian Entertainment. Then I click on their thing.
Oh, okay. It's got to be Avowed because they have this new game that's coming out in like 3 weeks called Penitent that I've never even heard of.
Oh.
Penitent is an upcoming adventure game by Obsidian and published by Xbox. It's scheduled for November 22 release, November 15th. It's a narrative adventure role-playing game set in Bavaria in the 16th century. The player, as the journeyman artist Andreas Mahler, investigates the murder of a prominent person for which his friend has been accused. The story spans 25 years and never canonically reveals a true murderer. Instead, the player is meant to accuse an individual based on either who they think did it or who most deserves punishment. Concurrent with the main murder plot are other crimes and conspiracies. The game's art style is a mix of late medieval manuscripts, early print, and woodcuts as the transition from late medieval period to early modern art. That sounds wild.
Okay.
I'm into it. I'm into that.
I'm interested. I'll have to check that out.
This is almost, I don't think, I maybe have seen a little bit of this because I'm seeing the actual art now.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I think it's Avowed is the game that I'm thinking of. And it was like, I'm an idiot. I'm a fucking idiot. The game I'm thinking of is a Rare game, not an Obsidian game.
Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, that's why I said Sea of Thieves, and then it didn't match up with Obsidian because that's not who developed Sea of Thieves. God,
Is that what you were thinking of?
No, not Sea of Thieves. I said Sea of Thieves. It has Sea of Thieves art style. You just didn't catch that doesn't make any sense for an Obsidian game.
Oh, wait. Everwild? The Rare game,
yes,
Everwild.
The Rare game, Everwild. That's what I was thinking of. But it doesn't matter because it was just me forgetting that that's not an Obsidian game because it's a Rare game.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, it's been a while since Obsidian, one of my favorite developers, has put out a game that I've liked because they had Outer Worlds. They had. I didn't really like Pillars of Eternity.
Oh, they did Outer Worlds, huh?
Yeah, they did Outer Worlds. I just fully hate Outer Worlds.
Ouch.
Yeah. And yeah, those Pillars of Eternity games I don't really like. They did the game Tyranny. I don't really know much about that. But it's the same engine as Pillars of Eternity.
Sorry, I'm looking because I was on Steam looking at Obsidian. I ended up at the Steam Halloween sale and I want to shout out this recent game that I haven't played but just has the greatest title ever. Have you seen Cursed to Golf?
Cursed to Golf? No, that's really funny. That is a little bit how having to golf feels.
No, golf is fun. Cursed to Golf is a challenging golf-like adventure where every shot counts. It's great. Love to go on a golf-like adventure.
Wait, is that the game? I maybe have seen this.
Not Golf Story. That was something else.
Cursed to Golf. No, I haven't seen this.
Maybe I'll check it out. Maybe I'll check it out today. Oh, I can download a demo. There's a demo for Cursed to Golf.
But it's not really a golfing game.
No, I think it is like Golf Story in that it is the mechanics of video game golfing in some other kind of not like precisely golf.
It's golf, but in a not golf.
You know, I mean, is desert golf? Because there's you don't putt. You don't count strokes or something. You don't, right? You don't count strokes in desert golf.
I haven't played desert golf.
Okay. But we all know that like there are golf-like games. I think that's funny. It is golf-like. It's not golf.
Yeah. Well, just funny to call your game that isn't a golf game Cursed to Golf because it's not golf. It's something else. Like the character in the game was cursed to golf, but the player is not because the player's not golfing. Okay, so we talked about Grounded. What else?
We talked about Grounded. We talked about Cursed to Golf.
Grounded, by the way, is the Honey I Shrunk the Kids game. We never actually said.
Yeah.
It's Honey I Shrunk the Kids. And I think the thing that was really fun about it was it did kind of have like a really startlingly good beginning. Like the beginning of the game is very like well done. Like in terms of like going and seeing like all the science stuff that's all big now that like turned you small, and like seeing a spider for the first time. Like it just like kind of proves that it was a good idea right away, and then goes like, but it's early access, so that's kind of all you get.
Gotcha. Yeah. So it sounds like it came together well. They added it. It seems like it keeps that focus. So it's like it is ostensibly a kind of open world survival game, like a Minecraft or what have you, where you need to feed yourself. You need to build structures, or you can.
Yeah.
You can also craft weapons and armor out of ants and stuff that you kill, I guess.
Yep.
Like, it's actually really combat heavy.
I played like 30 or 40 hours of this. I don't know if you know that. And
oh my God.
in very early access. Like I did like a bunch of
I did not know
Grounded.
that.
Yeah.
I think I played like 30 minutes of this game or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so but it where it kind of, I guess, differs from something like a Rust or Minecraft is that it does have like a beginning and end. It has a story. It has enough of a story. It has a sequence of game like, challenges you overcome or something. Or maybe it does have a story. I don't fucking know. Sounds fun.
It suggested that it had a story in the 30 hours of very early access that I played.
Yeah, very early access.
Yeah.
My dream, because Amelia Rose was into Grounded for like 5 minutes when it came out. So my dream is that she will be interested in playing this and we can play it together.
And you can stop playing Minecraft.
And so that we can have a brief respite from the constant assault of Minecraft.
Would you be a bad parent if you just said, we don't play Minecraft anymore? Minecraft is done.
I will not comment upon whether or not that will make me a bad parent, but I will say that Amelia Rose already has one parent who has that stance.
Okay.
So Amelia Rose can only play Minecraft with one of their parents.
Okay. So that means that she's even more fervent to play it with you.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so I think it'll be too gamey for her. The reason she loves Minecraft so much is it's just you play pretend. You can just when you put on creative, you can make up anything you want and build anything you want. And anything that gets in the way is simply cruft to be excised by the Lego version of the game that gets released later so that we can only have the good stuff.
It's funny because the original story of Minecraft was so wrapped up in like it's educational, it's like a building game, it's not violent, despite that not really being true. It is violent. Not true. And like, it's a game. It is a game that you can feel okay with kids playing.
Yeah.
But I think that sort of somewhere along the way, we all realized, or anyone with or around kids or following video games realized that actually Minecraft is like literally cocaine for children. They are fully addicted to it. They can't get enough of it, and it's hard to say. I think it's a lot harder to say whether or not the kind of fervent desire that Minecraft inflicts upon children is actually healthy or not.
Wow, dark.
Yeah.
I think the problem is somewhat larger. I think Minecraft is a perfectly great game for kids to play. I think it's good that kids are obsessed with Minecraft because it is way more good for kids than, say, Apex Legends, the other game that kids are obsessed with. But I think largely, I think we've always had this problem, but it's getting worse. Education is not great in our society. And so people are really eager to latch on to things they can give their children that will be educational. And this has given rise to an entire, educational toy industry. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure that anyone knows what educational means anymore.
Right. It has always been a stretch to call Minecraft educational.
Yeah. A huge thing right now is STEM stuff. It's STEM has been a buzzword in education for years at this point.
It's STEAM now.
No, it's not.
STEAM.
I don't even get me started. I could go on a whole diatribe about how insane that is.
We're doing STEAM.
We're not doing STEAM. Listen, I get it. Art is chronically the worst funded thing in education besides maybe music. And so budgets are getting thrown at STEM. You have to figure out a way to get some of that money diverted to art. And so it's in your best interest to convince everybody that somehow art is related to science, technology, engineering, and math. It's just not. Science, technology, engineering, and math.
I don't think it's about trying to pretend that they're related when they're not. I think it's about someone that only does STEM for their entire lives turns out like a weird robot. And so children need the art to supplement their
of course they
empathetic
do,
young brains.
That is why we give children a variety of topics to be educated on at school. Science, technology, engineering, and math, that's just 4 kinds of science. It's just another way to say science. And art is not science.
Right, but I just think
it's
about deleting science. I think it's about deleting the focus on science from parents' brains. Is I think what it is. Being parents need to stop focusing on science and math.
I don't know that people are.
People are what?
I think I can describe really where STEM. Whatever. I wanted to be done with this podcast by now. Let's not talk about this. I think STEM as a concept the amount of enthusiasm I have seen for STEM as a concept is remarkable. And I don't think it has gotten us anything appreciably.
Yes.
I think people are in such dire need to feel like they're doing anything to remediate the educational crisis in our country that if we just shout STEM loud enough, this will have a positive impact. But I don't really think it means anything. I think about this all the time. I saw 2 notebooks, with, kind of expensive diaries or notebooks. They're not expensive, but they're kind of nice. They're it's like a $30 diary. It's just a book, right?
Yeah.
And there were 2 different ones that you can, and they maybe even had a handle on it. I don't know. And one had an embossed Christian cross on it and said in script characters, "Guide my way." And then the other one said STEM, and it had 4 logos for the different things of STEM. And I tweeted those, and I just said, "Same energy, same energy." It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah,
it just seems like the idea of STEM has become a totem to make people feel good about nothing. And I don't know, it just doesn't seem good to me.
No, I agree.
There's some Halloween sales going on. That's kind of like game news.
Yeah. I should say, though, before we move completely off of this, art is math in a lot of ways. There's a ton of math in art.
All right. I'll take it.
But yeah, I didn't...
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Listen, I just want to be on the record that art programs should get the funding that they need, and we also shouldn't try to convince people that somehow art is a material science.
I just think it's an easier sell to be we're adding art to STEM than it is to be We should fund art classes.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying is that's why they're doing it, is because it's a much easier sell, but I think it's a fundamentally disingenuous sell to me.
Well, it's not if you actually fund it.
Hey, Keith, you want to get Dishonored 2 for $5.10? You could if you wanted to.
I really liked Dishonored 2.
Yeah?
Yeah, I did.
Should I get it for $5.10?
Only if you're going to play it with mouse and keyboard.
All right. I'll think about it.
I tried to play Dishonored 2 3 times. It only stuck the last time because it has the worst controller lag I've ever felt in a game.
Oh, no.
I couldn't use a thumbstick to aim in that game at all. Switching to a mouse totally solved that for me.
Metal Gear Solid 2 all over again.
It is almost that bad, yeah. It really is almost that bad. It may even be as bad as Metal Gear Solid 2. But once I got in there, again, we've talked about Arcane sort of recently when Deathloop was coming out. But I think that there's a lot of really good ideas in Arcane games, but actually doing action and combat is not something that I think that any of their games are really good at. I sort of like the world and the story of the Dishonored games, but the action parts of those games I think are really weak, and I think that they're basically unplayable on controller. I've tried on PC with controller and Xbox with controller. Bad.
For the record, I played Dishonored 1 on 360, and it seemed fine to me, though in retrospect, I'm sure I'd do better with the mouse. But
yeah.
Maybe it didn't seem fine to me. Maybe I did have a lot of trouble aiming in that game.
Yeah. It's just that Dishonored 1, a lot of people chose to play non-violently or a no-kill run. So I should say. A no-kill run because that game really punished you for every kill. And you were like, there was like an achievement for getting no kills that people really wanted. And lots of people were like accidentally dying after getting non-lethally knocked out. They would just be eaten by rats or fall off a cliff, and people were really mad about how punishing that game was, about its no-kill mechanic. And Dishonored 2 is much more lenient with that, as far as I could tell. I actually lost my save file about 80% of the way through the game, and I'm definitely not going to replay it. But I may move on to play Death of the Outsider, which I have heard is great. Which is the standalone DLC for Dishonored 2.
Oh, okay, yeah, I've heard that. Those deals were on Green Man Gaming. So they've got Dishonored 2 for $5, marked down from $30. Big one is Red Dead Redemption 2, marked from $60 down to $25 if you're like the one person who hasn't played that game. Hell Let Loose, marked from $40 to $22. That's pretty good. Hitman 3 Deluxe Edition, marked from $90 down to $36.
Do you know what we should do?
Go get that shit.
You know what we should do?
What should we do?
We should both get play dates and do some play date games and talk about those on some podcasts.
I never in a million years would have guessed at the start of that sentence that it was going to involve the word play date.
Really? Well, I mean, yeah.
Especially because we were talking about Hitman 3. I thought you were going to say we should play Hitman 3, and I'd be like, yeah, we should do that.
I played a bunch of Hitman 3. I'll play more Hitman 3. I played a bunch of Hitman 3.
Yeah. You just got disinterested when I tried to sell you on Hitman 1 in Hitman 3, and you're like, oh, no.
Oh, just when you wanted to do that as like a series or something?
Something like that.
Yeah. It wasn't that it was Hitman 1 and Hitman 3. The thing that had me disinterested in doing Hitman for content was that I feel like I do not play Hitman in the way that is fun to watch. Like, I think Hitman is a great game for lots of streamers.
Said that.
Yeah.
I know that you think that.
Yeah.
But have you considered that maybe actually people would love to see Keith Carberry do a serious Hitman run?
Maybe. Yeah. I guess, drop in the comments if that's what you want. Put it in the comments. We'll do it. But sorry, I saw a tweet about someone retweeted something Playdate, and I have had it in my head that I wanted to get one, and then was not able to get in the first shipment of them, and so I canceled my thing because I was like, well, if I can't get in the first one, then I can wait a little while.
Yeah.
But they're now predicting pre-orders now coming early 2023.
How much?
$179, but it comes with 20 games.
Bro, I don't have a PS5 or a Series X.
Yeah, get a Playdate instead. How cool would that be?
I don't know.
How cool would it be to get a Playdate instead?
Well, I was just thinking, okay, I've got this job. I might actually have spare money soon. Maybe I should grab a PS5 so I can play, some of these holiday releases.
What holiday releases?
Right, yeah, sure. I mean, there are definitely some.
Yeah, Pokemon.
But I just then saw a news story about pre-orders are up for the new version of the DualSense. And then I remembered that the DualSense it has been plagued by problems or something. And maybe I shouldn't buy a PS5 until it comes with the
get a Series
good
X.
DualSense. Well, I know, but I already have so much access to the Xbox stuff through my PC and my Xbox One, and PlayStation 5 does have an exclusive.
Sorry, do you not have a PS4 that you also have access to Sony stuff through?
Well, yeah.
And we know that you will like the Series X more than the PS5.
Yeah, but we also know that a Series X, I mean,
same price.
Is it?
Actually, I think it was
the
same
cheaper.
Price.
Actually,
maybe $50 cheaper, but I thought that Series X was basically.
Listen,
the same
obviously,
price.
I'm gonna get both of them, but
yeah,
right now, all the Microsoft shit's going to PC anyway. So
that's true.
All the Sony stuff's coming to PC, but 3 years late. So
when you don't care about it, then
when I don't care about it anymore.
Yeah. So you want because Sony is worse at getting PC their games, and Microsoft has been so good about it. You're going to reward Sony for their.
Hey man, this is what they wanted.
Yeah,
Microsoft wanted to put those games out so that I wouldn't have to buy a Series X, and I don't. Neo 2 is free on PlayStation Plus this month. If you want Neo 2.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I heard so many good things about Neo 1 also. They sound good. People like those games.
Yeah, they do.
I should try them.
Maybe.
Bayonetta 3 is really the talk of the town this week for multiple reasons.
Yeah, the first reason was that the voice actor who played Bayonetta in the first two quit because they only offered her $4,000 to be the new voice or to renew the voice. And then I think immediately people were like, you're turf.
Oh?
Maybe you didn't hear about that part?
That part I've definitely not heard about.
Yeah, so people were supporting her and being mad at Platinum Games. And who's the shithead who does the Platinum Games Twitter account? Who's always
Hideki
blocking
Kamiya.
people? Yeah. Kamiya's left
Deleted
Twitter
his account,
over the smoke.
yeah.
And then
He'll be back. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
And so it seemed like, a bunch of people being mad at Platinum and being like, oh my God, how could you? This game is going to sell a bunch of copies. How could you pay the star of those games only $4,000? And then what I saw was people being mad that she was transphobic. And then people being even more mad that they replaced her with an anti-vaxxer.
Is Jennifer Hale an anti-vaxxer?
Oh, is that who they replaced her with? Yeah, I think she is. Yeah. I don't really know. I don't really know a lot about it. This is just I'm seeing this second and third hand.
Yeah. So there's more weird parts to this story. I was initially pretty upset about this. But first of all, the original voice actor for Bayonetta who raised this stink seems to have genuinely gotten this wrong or genuinely misled the public about it, depending on which one you're feeling like giving to her, which is that it wasn't $4,000 total. It was $4,000 per session at an estimate of 5 sessions. So it was $20,000.
Okay,
and here's the other thing:
is low.
It is still low. It's always low because voice actors don't get paid, and it's a crime, and obviously it should change. Supposedly, she like counter offered with, actually, you need to give me $100,000 and royalties, which I'm not here to say that she shouldn't get that, but I am here to say that no voice actor has ever gotten royalties for a video game, so of course it didn't happen this time.
Right. It's bad that they don't. It's
bad. But yeah, I mean, like, the developers don't get royalties either. So, I mean, they should probably get them first, honestly.
Yes, they should. They do by hour, like, way more work on a video game. Easily.
Way more.
By several orders of magnitude more. Like, we're talking a couple dozen hours versus, like, a couple thousand hours.
Yeah, and I do understand why a voice actor whose entire trade is this thing would feel like, I'm like the face of the game. I'm like the star of the game.
Yeah.
But like that just ain't how games work. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Again, that was it was how many hours per session did it say? Like how long are these sessions? It was
I don't remember.
It was 5 sessions at $4,000.
They might be 4 or 5 hour sessions, but I also might just be mixing up the other 4s and 5s in that story.
I should say real quick, I would just want to poke in here. The Jennifer Hale anti-vax thing is something that I've seen several times, but I have also seen people being like, I don't particularly support Jennifer Hale as a person, but it's maybe disingenuous to call her an anti-vaxxer. I don't know why either of the people that I have seen saying those things are saying those things. I just want to have it out there that I genuinely do not know what the fuck Jennifer Hale has ever said about anything. The end. Yeah.
What was my last... Oh, the thing... And I hate to be like here to like knock down a voice actor for feeling like they're being underpaid. Hearing that they might be transphobic really helps.
Yeah.
The other thing is that... another notable case I can think of a time when this happened was like, remember the guy who voiced Nico in Grand Theft Auto 4? Kind of raised the same stink, was like, hey, I put in like a bazillion hours of recording for this character. I'm like the face of this game. This is a global success on a mind-numbing scale. I should get some kickback from this.
Yes,
and I think that makes perfect sense because, as I say, Grand Theft Auto 4, massively successful. Bayonetta 1 and 2, these were, at best, cult hits. These sequels exist basically on fiat that Nintendo is willing to bet that they will win hearts and minds if they fund this game that will barely make back its development cost. There aren't pools of cash flowing in from Bayonetta 3 that, will be funneled directly into Doug Bowser's pocket.
Okay, I will say this. Bayonetta 1 sold close to 1 million copies. Bayonetta 2 is even more popular. I think these games
close
sell...
to 1 million?
Yeah,
that's
these
not
games
a lot.
sell more... I'm just saying, these games sell more than I think that you're giving them credit for. They sold almost 1 million like opening week numbers. Not like lifetime numbers. So let me see here. Sales figures. Shinobi, a Japanese blog known for its early sales data, reported Bayonetta sold 138,000 copies on the day of its release in Japan.
Japan?
Yeah, so opening day just in Japan sold 138,000. And that's one. So 2 sold even better.
That's not that good, though. Those are bad numbers, Keith.
Media Create reported the PS3 version sold 135,000 copies and was the top-selling game during the week its release, while the 360 version sold 65,000 and was number 7. I'm trying to find a total sales number thing. Sega was, after a month, Sega Europe's vice president of publishing, John Clark, said that the Windows version had sold more than 170,000. That's on PC, I guess. And Sega was, quote, real happy about this performance. Yeah, I'm not seeing a lifetime sales thing. I think Bayonetta 1 sold more than you said that it did, is all I'm saying.
Bayonetta 2 sold even worse, but it was on the Wii U, so, it was sort of a victim.
Was it only on the Wii U? It's on Switch now,
It's
right?
on Switch now. They both are, yeah.
It sold 100 million. Oh, sorry, 100 million. It sold 1 million copies on Switch.
Yeah.
So who knows how many it could have even sold on the Wii U.
Suffice it to say, these are not terrible sales, but it's hardly a Grand Theft Auto.
Right, yes. It's not a Grand Theft Auto.
And now the reviews are coming in. The game comes out in 3 days.
Yeah.
The reviews, mostly pretty positive, some
Yeah.
extremely positive.
Yes.
I have seen a little bit of the take. This was from Maddie Myers' review. She seemed quite disappointed with where Bayonetta's story character goes. Something to the effect of I thought Bayonetta was my feminist icon, but then it turned out that the game didn't agree with me. Which is disappointing, but that was always my read on Bayonetta. I don't think Bayonetta games respect Bayonetta as much as people like to think.
Right.
But I'm curious, which side will I fall on? Probably that one. I'll probably be disappointed, but everyone says the gameplay is really good. Now I'm curious. Now I got to get in there and see.
I think that if you're already going into it thinking that people like Bayonetta for something that is extra textual, that and people's we've talked about this before. We've talked about the discourse on is it sexist or empowering that Bayonetta is horny?
Right.
And I think it's pretty obvious that the answer is both. That
well, but
that,
also and it's I don't have a ton of great insight into Platinum Games, but isn't this whole fucking game made by men? Is there even a
I don't know. I don't know.
I remember that first reveal trailer for Bayonetta 1 where she was flying through the air and the camera did a full Matrix X bullet time swoop where it plunged down her neckline and then around her crotch such that a full bottom 50% of your screen was taken up with Bayonetta's clothed pubis.
Yeah.
And so I guess that didn't read as feminism to me, I guess.
Yeah. And but again, it's sort of you don't have,
but it's more fraught than that.
You don't have to take the developer's intention into account when you are Bayonetta's cool and strong.
Yeah,
that's
good
awesome.
Point. Good point, Keith.
And I think it gets wrapped up a lot in the equally fraught thing of if a girl is hot, that makes it sexist. Which happens a lot.
You're right.
It's very complicated, and mostly I think that you can take from the game whatever you want, but don't be surprised when the game doesn't give you back your own what you have projected about the game.
That's kind of my initial reaction to that take, but I need to go see for myself because Bayonetta, you're right. This thing is it sexist for a woman to be horny and to be dressed sexily? Bayonetta, this issue is probably more complex in relation to Bayonetta than almost any other video game that I can think of.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So my end point was basically I think you already felt that the game was not necessarily on the sort of same feminist terms as the people who were appreciating it as such, which is fine.
Right.
If fine,
Well-
I'm saying it is fine for the people who want to take it that way.
Right,
That's
yeah.
fine. It is not fine to make a sexist game. And you should
Listen,
not. If
if
you
you
were
wanna
thinking about doing that, you shouldn't.
Like somebody's just like, Keith, oh, I just got it. Keith just gave me the approval. I knew if I just listened to enough podcasts, somebody would give me the okay on this.
But since you already feel that way, then I don't think that you're not like you're not in a position to be
Maybe.
portrayed by Bayonetta's bad politics.
I hope not.
I have not played a Bayonetta game, by the way. Just for anybody who's curious, I don't.
Play that first one.
Okay, it
check
didn't look
it
that
out.
fun to me. It just didn't look like that fun of a game.
I remember. I mean, I do remember it being difficult, but I think that's the type of game you'd be better at than I would. So, I don't know if the spectacle holds up is the thing.
Yeah.
At the time, I was like, wow, the bosses are huge and so detailed, and they animate so much, and the screen is filled with this thing. But
Yeah.
I don't know if that's gonna read the same way in 2022.
Yeah. If there's one lesson I think that in like the 2020s people need to learn is that like, it is not inherently feminist to have like a uwu step on me dominatrix character.
Yeah,
It is not. It doesn't make it. That doesn't make it feminist. Plenty of sexist men go to dominatrixes and are like into being submissive. Happens all the time. Happens almost all the time.
Yeah, that's the perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
You don't have to regret saying that later, Keith.
Thank
that was
you.
a good one.
Thanks.
This is tangential to Bayonetta 3, but kind of this story I found on GameSpot. If we just want more evidence that the landscape of video game like enthusiast websites is totally different, this is a news story on GameSpot called "Review Roundup for Bayonetta 3." First on the list is GameSpot's review, but then they just give you like
Fair.
everyone else's review.
So they're Metacriticing.
It's like
They're
first
trying to
here's
shave off Metacritic.
Yeah, here's GameSpot. Here's a blurb from Game Informer, one from Games Radar, one from Inverse,
Wow.
The Gamer, The Verge,
It's like
Polygon,
it's
and
like progressive.
VG274.
It's like progressive.
240.
It's like hey, we'll give you all the
VG247?
rates. We'll give you all the rates. If you don't like our score, you
Yeah.
can look at their score.
Yeah.
Most of the time, our score will be the highest. But if you want someone else's score to be the highest, just take a look.
Well, yeah, it makes more sense on GameSpot because theoretically they don't have any investment in what the score is. Theoretically. And that's what's funny is, like the Gerstmann Gate could never happen nowadays because advertisers don't bring the kind of money that they used to. Like,
yeah.
like, they
just
don't have the same kind of swing.
Right. It's like, oh man, what is Casper Mattresses gonna think about us giving Bayonetta 3 a 7.8? Casper
right.
Mattresses says they don't care. We can still have the $5,000.
Hey, Keith,
Yeah.
I know we talked about Star Wars earlier. Maybe I should have brought it up then.
Okay.
But I bet you're pretty excited about Bryce Dallas Howard portraying Master Yaddle on screen via voice.
Bryce Dallas Howard, who I know obviously from season 4, I think, of Arrested Development.
Oh, okay.
Um,
And I know her from Jurassic World and nothing else that I've seen, probably.
you haven't seen season 4 of Arrested Development?
I know her from that anecdote about how she might have been in Clerks 2 but didn't want to.
Didn't want to be.
Yeah.
That's a fun story.
That's a really fun story, right? You
Yeah,
know who I think suggested Bryce Dallas Howard for Clerks 2?
Okay.
Harvey Weinstein.
Oh.
Fun anecdotes.
The poison pill of any conversation, bringing up Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Yodel. But Yodel was the poison pill of any conversation.
No, there was a plot line in season 5. I was wrong. Season 5, Arrested Development, where what's his name? The main Howard, the narrator.
Ron Howard
is like in the show because they're pitching him the Arrested Development movie.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
they go to
Wow.
they go to his house while he's having a family reunion or having a family cookout, and Bryce Dallas Howard's there. That's how I know Bryce Dallas Howard.
That's awesome.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Hey, Keith, I've got, this is following up from our previous 2 podcasts. I have more news from the world of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are in Fortnite.
Oh, yeah?
This is now our ongoing series, our culture series. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are in Fortnite.
Yeah. Whose joke was that originally?
I don't know. Somebody very talented.
Yeah.
Hasbro's Power Rangers times Cobra Kai action figures are the pop culture fusion the world needs.
Sorry, what is the pop culture? I couldn't even focus on the words. Say them again.
Okay, so there's a Netflix show called Cobra Kai, which is a continuation of The Karate Kid. And I didn't know this until...
From modern day or from back then?
It's now. It's happening now.
So it is not...
Cobra
so Ralph
Kai-
Macchio's in it as an adult man.
See, I thought he wasn't, but I'm learning from this story that he is.
Okay.
Because they have made 3 action figures for Cobra Kai. One where adult Ralph Macchio is dressed like White Ninja Power Ranger.
Okay.
Power Ranger. One where his character's daughter, is in the Pink Ninja Power Ranger gi?
Sentai suit.
No, they're not the Sentai suits. They're the ninja suits from
the
movie.
ninja suits.
You know, like when they don't have their Power Ranger powers,
Yeah,
so they're
yeah,
dressed
yeah,
like
yeah,
ninjas
yeah.
for some reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
So gi then, yeah.
I see on the back of Ralph Macchio's action figures Power Rangers gi, it says Miyagi-Do Karate, and that's fun.
Okay.
It's fun that his karate dojo is called Miyagi-Do. And the other one is, I guess there's a scene maybe from the original Karate Kid where a bunch of kids dress up like skeletons for Halloween, and so they made a version of a putty from Power Rangers, but it's dressed in a skeleton Halloween costume.
And this is in Fortnite?
No, you can buy them. It's not in Fortnite. It's just the spirit. It's just more walls between pop culture franchises melting for no reason.
Okay.
For like to literally no sum. Like, why do you want adult Ralph Macchio as the White Ninja Power Ranger?
Okay, I was confused this whole time because I asked you to repeat what you said because I didn't hear it. And instead you just told me the news story. So I was like trying to figure... I thought that you were being metaphorical about the Power Rangers thing and that this was somehow in Fortnite. But no, this is the Cobra Kai in Power Rangers.
Yes, Hasbro's Power Rangers Cross Cobra Kai action figures are the pop culture fusion the world needs.
So we'll have to get these dolls for the 2 adults that we know that watch Cobra Kai.
Who are they?
They are my mother and our grandmother.
Oh my god, that's so good.
Yep, they watch Cobra Kai. They're in season 4.
It would be... We really should. That'd be so funny. We got you figures from your favorite television show, Cobra Kai, but they are as Power Rangers.
Yeah. It's combining our interests and their interests.
Yeah, so we can find some common ground. Hey, remember last week we talked about that Disco Elysium hubbub about, the people
is there more stuff on that?
leaving the company? So now there's a little bit more, I guess, there's in Estonia, which I guess is where Zaum or maybe just one of the people are located. Mm-hmm. They filed suit against, I guess, against Zaum. This is from Robert Kurvitz. He was the lead director of Disco Elysium. Has filed suit against Zaum in Estonian court, but that's all we know. We literally don't even know about what.
Yeah.
But they have a court date in a month.
I have kind of heard that guy was an asshole, for what it's worth.
Oh no!
Just vague things that I've heard. That guy was an asshole, and that a lot of the really good writing that came from Disco Elysium was not from that guy who did create the setting and wrote a book in the setting. But I don't know.
Oh.
Again, total hearsay.
Yeah.
I say again. Yeah, this is not the first hearsay. This is the second case of hearsay. I'm delivering rumors based on nothing to you.
Great. I mean, that's what video game coverage is, really.
Right. Yeah. So just, if this is like the tiny ray of hope that I have for a future Disco Elysium game is sort of not knowing if the person who was fired from the Disco Elysium team was actually the person writing a lot of the stuff that I really liked from Disco Elysium or not. I think a lot of people are just assuming all of the stuff that I like from that game, surely it came from the creator and team lead. But I don't necessarily know that that's true. But it could have been one of the other 3 people or 2 people that were fired. Don't know. It definitely seems bleak still, though.
Yeah.
I'm curious what will become of this lawsuit.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I hope that whatever happens, there is a Disco Elysium 2 and that it is good. I would rather there not be a Disco Elysium 2 if it's going to not be good. But it may be extremely interesting. It may be the dark timeline resolution that game deserves is like to be sort of subsumed into this horrible thing and not be able to finish out its story satisfactorily.
At this point, I'd put money on there not being a sequel, and if there is, it not being good. But hey, I have a news story from IGN.com.
Okay.
And I want to be clear. All of my news stories were pulled from the news section of video game websites.
Okay.
Okay, so don't go accusing me of anything silly.
Okay.
But this is a story titled Macro Photographer Reveals the Horrifying Details of a Carpenter Ant's Face.
That doesn't seem like a video game news item.
No, but it was on the news section of IGN.com, which means it counts. And there's the ant's face. You can see it. Scary, right? Ooh, wouldn't want to run into that face in a dark alley.
It looks like the locusts from Ants.
It's got large mandibles,
right?
The locust from Ants. I don't remember what the locust from Ants look like. So much of my memory of Ants is focused primarily on Woody Allen's ant character and his love interest.
Oh, maybe it was the locusts from Bug's Life. I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that the crickets,
grasshoppers.
But
the whole thing, I think, was that they were like, "We're going to become locusts and swarm on you."
All right, Keith. Let me ask you this. Okay, I imagine. All right, this is weird. Okay, imagine there's an empty room with a single full-size bed in it. Okay? And that room is in Traverse Town, the location in Kingdom Hearts where many different Disney characters from different universes find themselves stranded together because their worlds have been destroyed and consumed by the darkness. Okay. Now, what if I told you I want to use that bed to fuck Dennis Hopper's grasshopper character named Hopper from A Bug's Life?
I would say don't do that.
Why?
Because Mickey Mouse will see.
Okay. Now, is your concern... are you imagining that Hopper would fit in the bed easily?
Well, I guess it depends what you mean fit on the bed, because no, he's small. He's the size of a grasshopper.
Okay.
So he easily would fit in the bed, but the bed would be much too big of a bed.
Okay, that's interesting because the reason I bring this up is because this.
Can you pause for a second? I have no idea why you could have possibly brought this up. I know you're about to tell me, but I just want you to know how confused I am that this is what we're talking about.
Can I unpause?
Unpause.
Okay, so recently, Cheryl made the extremely unfortunate personal decision to start playing Kingdom Hearts from the first Kingdom Hearts game.
Okay.
And so this came up.
Wanting to fuck the grasshopper?
Yeah, well, we saw a bed in an empty room, and it's like, you could fuck any number of Disney characters on that bed, obviously. And then I brought up...
Don't pause again. Pause.
Okay, all right.
Can you do that in Kingdom Hearts? No, you can't. You can't fuck the characters.
It's not part of the mechanics. This is that extra textuality that I bring to it.
Okay. So you've introduced, look at that bed. Who would you fuck on that bed?
Right.
That is here in the room.
And I was immediately, my brain was trying to go to like, what is a weird, misshapen character that like wouldn't even work in that bed? Like, I think Cheryl said you could fuck any Disney character in that bed. And I was like, it couldn't be any character. What about Dennis Hopper's character, Hopper, the grasshopper from A Bug's Life? Because in my mind, when I thought this, I'd be like, he'd be way too big. And he's got those crazy big gangly legs.
Right.
But then she was like, yeah, he'd be too small because he's a grasshopper. And this blew my mind because I had been thinking of A Bug's Life as being fundamentally on a human scale. Like, I'm imagining when Hopper comes to Traverse Town, he's bigger than everyone else the way he's bigger than the ants in A Bug's Life. Right?
Now, I would say...
Because I know what you're thinking. You're like, no, A Bug's Life is a tiny movie about regular-sized bugs. But I'm saying maybe it's actually a normal-sized movie about gigantic bugs.
I don't understand how the size of the movie changes.
Well, it's like the size of the camera.
Okay. I don't think that we have any evidence... I don't think that either of us have seen...
Well, I'm speaking
Bug's Life
specifically about multiversality.
Okay.
If
I can prove
Hopper
it to you.
needs to interact with Mickey Mouse, is he much taller than Mickey Mouse or much shorter?
I can tell you why you're wrong, and I can explain it with science.
Great.
Thanks to Steam.
STEM, if you could, yeah.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
In your version, in your conception of the Bug's Life movie, where they are big bugs in an even bigger world.
All right. You are right. You put my back against it. I'll admit it. That might have been a retroactive explanation.
Oh, I don't even get to put forth my theory? You gave up already?
Well, I'm just saying, okay, I admit that A Bug's Life is about small bugs. I don't actually think they're big bugs, but I just think if they went to Traverse Town that they would be human scaled.
Yes, I think you're right.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Because they wouldn't be, they would be tiny? Then they wouldn't...
I guess they'd be tiny.
Well, okay, but...
Maybe actually that'd be really funny.
Is the fact that they're not in Traverse Town evidence that they're too small to be put in the game? Or maybe they're already in the game and you just can't see them.
That's what I'm thinking now. They're already there.
I can't believe
they're bed bugs.
I can't believe you didn't even let me give you my theory, my proof of why they cannot be big bugs, big man-sized bugs.
Why not?
Because we see them in the bar drinking surface tension balls of water.
I know.
And unless you think that in this same world molecules are much bigger, they wouldn't be able to do that. Wait, you do?
Does it give me more credibility if I do?
No, it gives you way less credibility.
Oh, okay. Well, then I don't do that.
To be they're big bugs, but also they're in a world full of big molecules. No,
all right, let's leave the jokes behind and get back to serious news stories. This is a news story I got from GameSpot.com. Disney Dreamlight Valley: how to make extra fizzy root beer. It's not the same as regular root beer.
Why would you want extra fizzy root beer?
Did someone order extra fizzy root beer? Scar is Disney Dreamlight Valley's new villainous villager to contend with, and his initial quest line is quite a doozy. It has a lot of parts to it, and even ends in a multi-day waiting period before you can complete it. But to get to that part, you'll first need to blow up the night thorns protecting a pillar inside the Vitalis mines in Sunlit Plateau, and that requires you to craft some extra fizzy root beer.
Do you remember the part in the Matrix movie where the robots explain how... it's not the robots. It's the
Okay.
at the end. What's his fucking name at the end?
Agent Smith.
Not Agent Smith. In the room with the TVs.
Oh, that's the second one, and you're talking about the architect.
The architect explains to Keanu Reeves, playing himself, that the robots tried to give the humans a perfect world where they were happy.
That was the first one, actually. That was Agent Smith in the first one.
That was Agent Smith in the first one that said that?
Yeah.
Why would Agent Smith know this?
Because he's the only antagonist in the movie, so someone has to say it.
Okay, fine.
That's a good point. I never considered. Why would he know that?
I think you're wrong. I just think you're wrong.
No, I'm totally right. But they totally wouldn't give agents this kind of, extra information about the path. They'd only know what they needed to know.
Yes, they would only know what they needed to know. Someone write in the comments if this is actually delivered by. It's not. No, isn't it? There's the Oracle, and who's the other one? It's the Oracle.
Yeah, the Oracle. Well, there's the Oracle and the Architect, but they're
from
the Architect's
two?
from the sequel. The Oracle's in the first one, in the middle of the movie.
Right. Okay. So anyway, someone write in the comments if Kylie's wrong. I genuinely can't remember, but my memory was that it wasn't Agent Smith. But that's
I
fine.
like The Matrix a lot.
I also like The Matrix a lot. I actually saw the first two again, but it was like a year and a half ago.
You know what? This is a fucking Qui-Gon Jinn Obi-Wan Kenobi all over again. You remember that slip up?
I do.
You're
It's
on
fine.
notice.
I already said that I didn't know. But so the robot says, or Smith says, we tried to give the humans a perfect world, but every time they were happy, they were like, this sucks. We hate it here. So we had to make with the horrible world that humans live in is actually the only kind of world that humans can live in because otherwise they don't accept it.
It's so it feels so true. It is technically based on nothing, but I just hear that and go, yeah.
No, well, so this is for me. This was like a big swing and a miss from the Matrix movies for me because I feel usually pretty strongly that that's not true. That like basically I feel like what it's saying is that if the world was any better than it was in the year 2000,
Well, sure.
that people would be mad about it and like want it actively to be worse.
No, but I think
I think that it's a fundamentally non-material criticism. It is a criticism of like people biologically are like unhappy and want the world to be bad instead of the reality.
I think you're misinterpreting it slightly.
No, I don't think so. What do you think?
Well, it's that he says that they didn't accept it, meaning like they did not, like they could tell that it wasn't reality. Like they could tell like, oh, this world is too perfect to be a real world. There's something wrong with this. It's not quite the same as being like they weren't happy with it. But I think that is ultimately true. Like, if you take a person and just endlessly give them everything that they want and everything that they need, it doesn't make a happy person.
No,
like,
but then
humans are so much more complicated than that.
But then they said that they like tried a bunch of versions of the world and like year 2000 capitalism, America is where they settled.
Okay,
like, that's,
well,
right?
obviously that was just present day when the movie was made.
Right, but they also wrote the movie in present day. Right? So what they're saying is like
Yeah, you're right.
all possible versions of social relation apart from modern day or like, near past America, because that's where the movie's set, is unacceptable to the human brain. And I think that that's basically blaming people for capitalism when capitalism isn't any person's fault. It's like it is like a much bigger structural issue.
It's the fault of Hopper, the grasshopper from A Bug's Life.
Well, so you talking about Disney Dreamlight did remind me of this scene, because essentially I just keep running into the reality that like the way for media companies to make massive, endless boatloads of money is to just shovel C and D tier content into people who will just like, it's seemingly out of boredom, keep paying for this stuff. Like, I don't understand it.
I know.
Why? Why do people are endlessly buying total like sub mediocrity, like immediately like one tier worse than average, consistently, movies and TV and video games. Oh my god, it's just an endless pile of garbage.
Aren't you possibly forgetting about the mountainous heaps of garbage media that exist in the past?
No, and here's why. Because, you know, capitalism is constantly evolving, and I feel like in the Year of Our Lord 2022, the one thing that you can say about capitalism's, you know, advancement in the world is that it has become better at earning money as the rate of profit declines. And so they found more and more ways to squeeze blood and money out of the stone.
Yeah.
And so because rates of profits are falling, the you have to find other ways to make your money, and which is why like wages have stagnated, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like we can't make more money from the product, so we have to make more money by withholding it from labor.
Yeah.
And so like so basically I think like because companies have figured out the way to sell things to people better than they were like 50 years ago. Sure, there's plenty of bad movies and plenty of bad TV.
I do agree.
From 50 years ago, but now the bad stuff is addictive in a way. Like, think of YouTube. I mean, there's just so much more content. There couldn't be more bad stuff in the past. There has to be more bad stuff now simply by there being more stuff. But I think even proportionally, right? Like, it's sort of like adults paying for like Disney Starlight stuff. What is it called?
Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Disney Dreamlight Valley stuff. Or, you know, like is sort of the, and I don't begrudge any particular person for liking whatever like silly game. I have silly games that I like also, but it's sort of the mass of it, the sheer quantity of this thing reminds me of like, this is the adult version of like those creepy videos for kids that are like extremely inexpensive CG, and like kids will just watch these like bizarre nightmare videos on their iPads.
Yeah, luckily those don't really exist anymore.
Is that true?
Yeah, YouTube actually like found a way to crack down on that stuff.
Oh, that's good.
Which is nice.
But I like.
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just enjoying a nice bag of nacho cheese Doritos, the official USA snack of the FIFA World Cup 2023.
Doing all these podcasts recently, we've done 3 in the last month. Like, I just sort of feel like a broken record on this. Like, but I just can't get over it. We just keep talking about these things where I am overcome with how excellent people are being, like, they are packaging garbage better than ever, and people just like, and I don't think people love it. Like, I don't think anybody is like, Disney Dreamlight Valley is a masterwork, but there's just a certain level of like kind of okay, kind of boring shit that people are totally willing to waste their time on.
But has it ever been any different? Like, is the person playing Disney Dreamlight Valley now, would they have just been doing a book of word searches 30 years ago?
Yeah, but Disney word searches were not free to play, that were like using psychological tricks to take your money, take money from you $5 a time. This is what I'm talking about.
You're right. The casino
Like, it's so much more pernicious
stuff,
now.
Yeah.
Everything is pernicious, it feels like. Like, there's no...
you're totally right. Like, there are entire college courses on how to be, like a marketing ghoul.
Yeah. And so it's not just that there's more bad content. Like, the reason that there's more bad...
entire college degrees, not in courses.
The reason that there's more bad content now is because they figured out how to make money off of the bad stuff. And people looking to make the really good stuff mostly aren't also being like, well, I want to make this really great art, and I also want to figure out how to psychologically separate people from their money every 4 days, so that they can like pay for more battery to... Like, pay for more energy to buy the crystals so that they can spend on the gems that they can spend on outfits.
Oh, yeah, because you need gems to get crystals.
You need the gems to get... I'm thinking of playing Genshin Impact, where you use real money to buy Genesis crystals, and you use the Genesis crystals to buy Primo gems, and you use the Primo gems to buy fates.
Yeah!
Hell yeah.
And then you get that sick fate. You get a quaint fate.
Intertwined fate's the good one. I mean, they do different things, but...
I thought I misunderstood before. I thought maybe quaint was better because it's less assuming.
No. The intertwined fates let you buy the special banners, and the quaint fates let you buy the standard banner.
Hey, Keith.
Yeah.
You ready for a company you hate to sell you 3 more things you won't like?
Yes.
Because Konami announced all that Silent Hill shit. You hear about that Silent Hill shit?
Yes. We talked about this last podcast. Bloober Team is remaking Silent Hill 2, or all of them, or what?
2.
Okay.
2, Silent Hill 2, it might literally be called Silent Hill 2 Remake.
Silent Hill 2 The Streets.
Silent Hill 2 The Streets. They're very foggy streets. So that's happening.
I wonder if that's something we said during the Silent Hill Let's Play that I'm forgetting that we said.
No, I don't think so. It remains to be seen, am I more unhappy about Bloober Team making a Silent Hill 2 remake, or am I just more unhappy about the actual name Bloober Team?
I do hate the name.
Every time I hear it, it's like nails on a chalkboard.
You've been talking for years about redoing parts of the Sonic Let's Play, or like redoing redoing the whole thing. And I have on and off entertained this idea, but aren't the games that we really need to redo Silent Hill 1 and 2?
No,
especially 2.
Especially 2. Yes, we do need to redo 2.
Let's redo 2.
I was saying this. I literally said to you, what if we redid Silent Hill 2? At some point. I don't
remember that. Well, if I didn't think it was a good idea then, I think it's a good idea now. I retract any negativity. But I feel it's such an obviously good idea. I don't think I would have said no at the time.
It's so weird. It's still, people still say all the time, they're like, those first 2 Silent Hill Let's Plays, they're really good. I keep rewatching them, and I'm like, I guess I'll take your word on it.
Yeah. I mean, I thought I was doing good work at the time.
You can't redo that Schrodinger's cat moment. That was good.
I don't remember it, so maybe I could redo it actually.
Oh my god. So if there's a box and Keith doesn't remember if the box has a cat in it or not. So there's the other, that's one, the Silent Hill 2 remake is one Silent Hill thing. Oh, I'm sorry, there's 4. It's 4 things.
Right, because we talked about this one last time already, so that doesn't count as one.
And we have 3 new things to talk about. There's also Silent Hill Townfall, which I don't know. I think I closed the wrong story. But there's Silent Hill Townfall.
Okay. I like the name.
Oh, I see it. It's like downfall, but town. I see. So this one is being co-produced by Annapurna and No Code Studios, and this is going to be like a moody horror type something or other.
I think. I mean,
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, whatever. Okay.
All right,
Not published by Konami. It's the
there's
first Silent Hill game not published by Konami.
Well, they're all published by Konami because Konami owns it, right?
No, this is it says right here.
Co-produced.
Right. It is the first Silent Hill game not published by Konami, it says.
Oh.
Publisher Annapurna. Annapurna is a publisher, so that's if they were involved, that's what they're going to do to it. They're going to publish it.
Yeah. Well, they produce. They help produce. Listen, Konami's getting paid out of this either way. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they own the Silent Hill license or whatever.
I hate Konami enough at this point to actually be mad that they're getting money. It's not just enough for them to not be involved. I actively want to not support the company named Konami.
Right.
But, that's just me. We also have Silent Hill F.
Okay.
And this will be...
a meme game where you play a Silent Hill Twitch streamer.
Wrong.
Okay.
This will be a game set in 1960s Japan. It's being written by Ryukishi07, the acclaimed Japanese visual novel writer behind Higurashi and Umineko series. Two things I'm unfamiliar with, but I'm sure somebody listening to this is like, how can you not know?
Yeah, I've never heard of this guy.
Ryukishi07.
Blood type AB, though.
Is that Ryukishi07's blood type?
Yep.
How do you know that?
I'm on...
You just know.
I'm on the 07th expansion.fandom.com wiki, and it says right here under his age, which is 48, male, blood type AB, occupation, author, artist.
Great. Perfect. Yeah, so he's writing Silent Hill F, set in 1960s Japan, and it will be atmospheric, and it will described as juxtaposing a worldview of beautiful, therefore horrifying. Silent Hill F is being... Oh, it's written by that guy. So we have some teaser images here, and there are lots of, beautiful, haunting images of, like, rural Japan. Looks very cool. Very interested in that. Again, beating a dead horse here. Didn't need to be called Silent Hill, because Silent Hill is a town in America. It's the point of the thing.
Right. So this is just Konami capitalizing on Silent Hill as the only thing that they do that anyone cares even a little bit about.
Besides Metal Gear.
Yeah. And so, although people caring less and less about Metal Gear post Metal Gear 5, obviously.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So Silent Hill really is the last thing left that they have.
Yeah. And that's only because they haven't put out any games in like 15 years, so it hasn't been there to be bad, unlike Metal Gear Survive, which very much exists.
Yeah.
And here is the most mysterious new Silent Hill game. Okay, this is a GameSpot news story by Ryan Dinsdale titled, "The Most Mysterious New Silent Hill Game Gets More Details." I don't know that we'll call it a
Ascension?
game. Silent Hill Ascension is going to be
a cult. It's actually just a religion you can join.
It's actually just an organization that you join to learn more about yourself and the heavenly spirit that we all share.
And just all you have to do to sign up is take this card, write down your 3 biggest secrets, including any crimes you may have committed, and give it to us, and we'll keep it somewhere safe. And that's called your heart card.
And take this pocket flashlight. You'll need it.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be. Oh god, this is from Genvid, the gaming arm of J.J. Abrams' film and TV production company Bad Robot.
Oh my god.
Okay. And it's also being created by Dead by Daylight Studio Behavior Interactive.
Great.
And video game to TV specialist production company DJ2 Entertainment. Sure.
That's funny. Can I can I read you a tweet of mine that I wrote?
Sure. Is it about Silent Hill?
It is related to this.
Okay, I'm gonna eat a Dorito.
This just reminded me of this tweet that I made. I
haven't gotten to the biggest thing about Silent Hill Ascension yet.
I want whatever. Nope, that's not it. Fuck. I thought I could find it so easy.
Hubris.
Yeah.
Classic.
I know, it was classic hubris. Sure, I do podcasts, but my real dream is to develop eventually canceled TV adaptations of video games. Every time you hear about a game that has an obviously doomed TV development deal, I want to be involved.
Yeah, I saw that. That was good.
Anyway, this reminded me of that.
Yeah, the idea of you desperately want to be involved in projects that will be canceled is really funny. I want to be there to see it get axed.
I want to be the reason it gets axed.
Yeah.
I want to put forward an idea that just on paper just seems good enough and will make enough money to get greenlit, but then production starts, a couple $1 million get wasted, and everyone realizes this is never going to work. Cancel it.
Though we'll need to wait until the event premieres to get a full idea of what it involves. It seems to be akin to The Walking Dead Last Mile, another interactive streaming event spearheaded by Genvid. So this is gonna be... It sounds like a series, like there'll be multiple episodes, but... Or maybe it is just all one thing. But so it's only gonna run once. It's like a show they're gonna stream one time, and everyone watching will get to make choices, choose your own adventure style, and then things will play out, supposedly, and then it'll be over.
What?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Do they know about like video capture?
I'm not sure Konami knows anything at this point.
Yeah, but what about J.J. Abrams? Look, I don't like him, but I know he knows what TV is.
Yeah, you're right. Well, it's not him, it's just the gaming arm of his production company, so maybe he's not involved.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm sure someone's giving him a report. Hey, what is my gaming arm doing?
Hey, are we fucking up Silent Hill yet, or?
So I think it's stupid that you would go from doing nothing with Silent Hill for a really, really long time, then doing PT, and then fucking that up immediately, and then doing nothing for a really, really long time, and then being like, hey, by the way, we have 3 projects in the works, and one of them is a TV show.
Yeah, it's so weird. Because, like, it's been clear for a minute that people were fervent for a new Silent Hill thing. Like, every time Konami was like, I don't know, I woke up this morning and I kind of felt like maybe I'd do a Silent Hill in 5 years or something, everyone loses their minds. And like,
which is
then
funny
they just
because Silent Hill's not even any good.
Yeah, and then they just get stoned and go back to bed or something.
Yeah,
and it's like they finally got their shit together.
I just want to play pachinko.
Yeah, but it's so funny. It's like they went from feeling like Silent Hill wasn't even worth it. It wasn't even worth enough to make a game. To suddenly, it's now their entire media strategy.
Yeah,
is like a Silent Hill blitz. It's so bizarre.
It's so weird. Did they have like a change in leadership recently?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Here's a news story from GameSpot. Scorn, how to get the rifle.
Nice. How do you get the rifle?
I don't know. It'd be spoilers. I'm not going to read it, actually. But you know about Scorn?
No.
Okay.
What is it?
Scorn is a recently released video game that was in development for a long time, and the talk of the town is that trailers and early footage made it look kind of like a shooter, and now it's more like an adventure game that has a gun in it. But that it's interesting to me. The pitch here is it's like a Giger-esque, weird, gross sci-fi biological horror environment.
Okay.
With kind of a mystish, you're walking around solving puzzles kind of thing. And also maybe sometimes there's enemies you need to avoid or kill.
Oh, yeah, this
something.
looks gross.
Yeah, it's wild, right?
Yeah.
It honestly sounds like it. I know you're not a Myst fan, but it's kind of up Run Button's alley.
I think that
it's a good video.
I think that we are way past calling me not a Myst fan. I think it's much more complicated than that at this point.
Oh, okay. So, and not because you're definitely not, but you're like, I just think about Myst and I don't know what my heart wants.
Well, we've played 4 games at this point, right? Myst, Riven, Myst 3, and Uru.
Ages Beyond Myst.
Right. And I would say Uru is disqualified.
Ages Beyond Myst?
I think Uru is disqualified because it's just really its own thing.
Because it was never released.
Right, because it was never came out. And then Myst I fully didn't like, but I liked Uru and Myst 3 categorically.
Riven and Myst 3. Categorically liked Myst 3. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Uncontroversially liked Riven and Myst 3.
Negative points I've heard about Scorn is that maybe some people feel the puzzles are very clever. Some people feel that they're kind of uninspired. So, I don't know.
So it sounds like they're calling those other people dumb.
I mean, really, it's like...
Oh, you thought that was clever?
I think I heard, like, Vinny Caravella say that the puzzles were bad and too hard, but then I remembered that I don't think he likes puzzles that much, so maybe it's up my alley. And I've heard that it's easy to miss things in the game because everything kind of blends into this Giger-esque art style.
Right.
And things don't really stand out. And that it's directionless. That
you
are
said
not told
Giger-esque
anything.
twice. We should say, you're talking about H.R. Giger, the famous artist responsible for the design of such famous monsters as the Xenomorph.
The alien from Alien.
The alien from Alien.
See, you're giving me stuff about Giger-esque, but then you're just going to say Xenomorph without explaining that.
I would have gone on.
It's the alien from Alien. Let's wait. Let me actually find the name of the artist who did this stuff, because they shouldn't just say their work is like someone else's work, right? Even though it clearly is very inspired by that.
Wait, say it again.
Well, I was saying, like, I should look up the artist who worked on Scorn and say their name instead of just saying, their work is a lot like this dead guy's work.
Yeah, but it very clearly is.
Yeah,
right?
It literally said, like, the first paragraph on Wikipedia says the game is inspired by the works of visual artist H.R. Giger.
Yeah.
And, I don't know how to say this name. Zdzislaw Beksiński?
The first one sounded more right to me.
Beksiński.
Yeah.
But I skipped a couple. There was a whole Z and a D I skipped.
Okay.
Zedislaw? I don't know.
Plazinski.
But
I'm not
anyways,
looking at it. I'm just saying.
Let's. Are there actual names of people who worked on this game? Artist Philip Akovic, maybe. Definitely Philip. For sure, it's Philip.
I mean, hey, you gave it a pretty good try. Say Philip COVID.
No, Akovic. Cool box art too. That was a good looking box.
What? Wait, hold on. What?
It's a good looking box. I'm looking at that box.
No,
and I'm
I need to.
It. Listen, Keith, you're not going to get me to take this back. It's an okay looking box.
No, I just need to know what this is. Is it? Hold on.
Is what?
Apparently there was a Death Note. I'm really trying to figure this out before I say anything, and I'm just going to go for it. Okay. I'm just going to share this tweet with you. There was apparently a Death Note parody in The Simpsons, and they have all the Simpsons characters drawn in anime style, and it appears that this is like from the episode. I really can't tell because it's really weird.
That is so wild.
That is so weird. Welcome to Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are in The Simpsons.
And Ryuk doesn't even look right either, so it's all wrong.
But look, it's
Death
Homer.
Tome. That's really funny. It's Anime Lisa holding a book that says Death Tome.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's very weird, right?
listen, I don't think I'm going out on too much of a limb to say that The Simpsons should look like The Simpsons.
I mean, if you're gonna
Famous for never changing.
If you're gonna be, I think The Simpsons looks a lot different than it did.
Well,
like 35
sure.
years ago. But,
Okay. These
if you're gonna be,
screenshots look
it's just
good.
such a weird choice to do that.
Oh my God! Look at the Lisa one again on the street. Disco Stew is behind her to the left.
That's so weird.
It's so weird. All right, yeah.
Marty's hair isn't tall enough.
Yeah, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are in The Simpsons.
Homer's like, why don't I have more sake?
Yeah.
In my
Oh no,
cup.
there's so little sake in this little cup. Dough. Got him. Keith, what if I just got fucking crazy and just like read you a couple Love That Goku tweets from 2014?
That would be crazy of you to do in this 3-hour long podcast
Listen to this
instead
one.
of just ending the podcast.
But doesn't this one speak to you though? Listen to this. Doesn't it touch you in your heart? I appreciate all my followers despite your personalities, which are often bad.
Yeah.
Harness your power and have a great time.
No.
If you do not believe in yourself, then no one will, especially me. And finally, I am available to chat about Dragon Ball Z. You know?
Those are good tweets.
Yeah, I didn't know you were going to play that outro music right at that moment, but...
But it was good, right?
No? We didn't talk about the Lenovo foam pit fiasco.
Okay. What's the Lenovo foam pit fiasco?
TwitchCon happened. And
I totally forgot about that. That's crazy.
yeah, so Lenovo and Microsoft had a booth with a giant foam pit and like a platform where people do like the American Gladiator thing where you have a stick that's like a giant Q-tip and you try to knock the other
I'm
person in the
surprised
foam.
that I heard this story and I didn't hear the Lenovo or Microsoft involvement. I just heard that this was something that happened at TwitchCon.
Yeah, it's so weird. I don't know why everyone's trying to put this on Twitch. It's bizarre. They're all like, this is Twitch's fault, and they won't apologize. It's like, dude, it was Lenovo and Microsoft. It's their booth. Twitch just said, yeah, you guys can come. They assumed Lenovo and Microsoft weren't going to break people's spines.
Yeah. I mean, okay, there is eventually the buck has to stop with like, hey, we're pitching you this idea at your con. Can we do this?
Yeah.
And they say, yeah. But then you've just got to assume, like, you know,
That they're going to do it
that they're going to
responsibly.
do it responsibly.
Like, they didn't
I
say,
don't
hey,
know. I
Twitch,
guess
what if we make a big foam pit and we just don't give a shit and we just throw people in all crazy? And Twitch said, like, I don't see how that could go wrong.
Yeah, I guess it's hard to say exactly who's more at fault here. But
I can say who. It's definitely Lenovo and Microsoft.
Well, but you know, I don't know anything about how the convention was run. At the end of the day, it is Twitch's convention. It does.
That's true.
I can say
let's
this
talk
for
about
sure.
what happened.
I can say this for sure. It's crazy that I'm only now hearing that it was a Lenovo and Microsoft booth. I assumed that this was like a Twitch booth.
No.
That's how people are talking about it.
Because here's the thing. This is what it was. Big foam pit, like huge. If you see if you see pictures, it's remarkably big, like way bigger than it needed to be, which is maybe what led to this. And it has a little a little circular platform you stand on, and the idea is you fight with foam sticks and knock the other person into the foam, and they go, oh no, and they land on soft foam. But when you see those big foam pits with all the square cubes of foam in them that people like dive into, those things are like 6 or 7 feet deep. Like they're made for people to jump into. Yeah. That's not what this was. This was like a layer of foam cubes, like basically on the floor. It was like maybe 12 inches.
But each of these blocks look like 8 to 12 inches thick, and there's maybe 2 layers of them, if not a layer and a half.
And so what happened was, like, I believe the actual event of like the gladiator stick foam fighting thing, I think that was maybe fine.
Yeah.
But then people started to get rowdy and were having fun, and were like running up and diving in and stuff.
Right.
And specifically, streamer Adriana Chechik, I guess she must have dove because her spine was compressed and broken in 2 places. She's already had at least 1 surgery, and there's more ahead of her. She's got like a metal rod in her back right now. She was in surgery for 5.5 hours.
Jeez.
Totally wild. But, to me, it's a really clear-cut case. They can't, Lenovo and Microsoft came to Twitch with a fairly reasonable idea. What if we set up a foam pit for people to pretend fight over, and they'll fall in the foam pit and they won't get hurt? And Twitch said, that sounds reasonable, but it was not handled well.
Right.
And so obviously somebody needs to be accountable. I just don't know why everyone's pointing at Twitch.
Yeah. I wonder how this happened, because it is sort of like, you can see how deep it is just from these pictures. So I don't know how anyone would ever get the idea to dive into this. So it's got to have been something else, like falling into it.
It's also that, but also remember, it's a convention. People are just having fun, and they're getting hyped on the group energy, and maybe there were even drinks involved. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe no one wants to mention that part.
But it doesn't matter, because you're not supposed to have a thing that someone could get drunk and jump in and die. That's still not allowed.
Yeah. That's right. I'm not saying it's no one's fault. I'm saying it is definitely the organizers of the Lenovo and Microsoft booth's fault.
Yeah. I think it's wild that I haven't heard about that.
Yeah.
From the several sources that I've heard about this story from.
Oh, hey, Keith. Oh, this is breaking. This is breaking news. White people are now more likely to die of COVID than black people.
Oh, I heard that.
We did it.
I saw that there was like a Washington Post article that was like, we're gonna explain how this happened, and it's like, I know how it happened. White people are more likely to be Republicans, and Republicans are less likely to get vaccinated. That's how it happened.
Yeah. That's how it happened.
It was actually very easy to explain how it happened. And despite obviously the racism in America reflecting socioeconomic conditions by poor people are more likely to be killed by the vaccine, which meant people of color were more likely to be killed by the vaccine. Even despite that being also obviously true, I'm surprised only now has that been overtaken by white people not getting vaccinated enough and dying more.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, it might be time to really head out of this podcast.
Yeah, let's end it with 2 fun death stories.
Yeah. Let's bring it back. Should I just
read
no one died
more
in the hilarious
story.
Should I read more hilarious Love That Goku tweets?
No, we shouldn't.
Because I found where it's April Fool's Day of 2014. And he said Dragon Ball Z is a bad anime. It's April Fool's Day. And then after that, he said, Goku sucks, April Fool's Day. And then he said, I am a warrior of weak mind and weak body, April Fool's Day.
He was tweeting more recently. I don't know if that's why you're looking at these tweets.
I don't remember how I got here.
Because it'll be like a couple weeks of tweeting and then years of nothing.
Yeah. I just saw Love That Goku, and I knew that what I wanted was the earliest available tweets on the Love That Goku Twitch page. And that's what I got. Or Twitter, sorry. The originals
no,
are gone,
Love That Goku tweets
though.
are still good. People often reach out to me through Twitter to ask for advice, and I do not appreciate it.
I did not learn to walk until I was 11 years old, and now I have a casual walking speed of 9 miles per hour.
The thing that I always love about Love That Goku is that it's impossible to tell whether this is like an extremely weak nerd lying on Twitter about being very powerful, or if Love That Goku's, the character is actually extremely powerful and is doing all of this training.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the one thing that we can be certain of is that Love That
He did
Goku
kill all those
is
dogs.
definitely a real person. He definitely exists. It's not a novelty Twitter account. He's a real person, and he did kill all those dogs.
Sorry. Did you want me to apologize for calling him a character? Is that what you're getting at?
Take it back, Keith. Come
I'm
on.
sorry. He's not a character. He's real.
Thank you. Thank you. Because would a fake person tweet Pascal is a real guy? me and Pascal are putting a bunch of big rocks in a bag and dragging the bags all over town and getting fucking ripped. We look huge.
We can leave it with something aspirational.
Okay.
Tonight, I urge us all to reflect on the life and path of the Saiyan warrior Vegeta. In his youth, he was hell-bent on violence and destruction, but on Earth he found love and soon found himself fighting on the side of good. Love this. It was just go to show that it was never too late to discover the light. Awesome. When I think about these things, I feel warm in my very bones. Warm from the hope that love can bring to a man. What a waste it is to fight for anything but love and the continued peaceful existence of all mankind. It is enough to make a man weep. My roommate Winston is very annoying tonight, and as revenge, I have taken his laptop computer and I put it in the yard and I am spraying it with the hose.
The human gourd from Blues Traveler is disrespecting my name and legacy on Twitter again.